How sweet to be an idiot.
I don't know. Yep, Charlamagne the God.
Andrew Schulz.
We are the Brilliant Idiots, and this week's episode of the Brilliant Idiots is brought to you by Squarespace, okay? A dream is just a great idea that doesn't have a website yet. Make it a reality with Squarespace. Showcase your work, blog or publish content, even sell products and services of all kinds in just a few clicks. And there's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever. Head to squarespace.com today to start your free trial. And when you're ready to launch your new website, use the offer code IDIOT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
That's right, and also this week's episode is brought to you by Acer. Did you know that, Charlamagne? Because you can take your gaming with you, all right? Enter the Predator Helios 300, a gaming laptop that takes power to an all-new level. Equipped with a 7th-gen Intel Core processor, an Aeroblade 3D fan. Discover the VR-ready Predator Helios 300 today. Go to Acer.com, click on Store, and enter the coupon code BRILLIANT. We got to unite our codes, man. It should just be one code no matter who it's with. But
Yes, are we brilliant or are we idiots?
right?
All
Sometimes idiots, sometimes idiots 30, sometimes whatever. Let's just have one. But this one right here is going to be brilliant at checkout, and you receive 10% off plus free ground shipping on a Predator Helios 300 laptop, including already discounted models. Offer valid through April 30th, 2018, and limited to one per qualified offer. That's how good a deal this is. You're only allowed to get one. Now, let's start the show.
Nice for what to these niggas? You gotta be nice for what to these niggas? Hey. New Drake music. You know what I'm saying? Drake about to get a white woman beat up this summer. No. All right? Who's gonna be the first white woman brave enough to say nice for what to these niggas?
Oh, is that the words in it?
Yes. See?
I didn't
See?
know.
Don't even know.
I didn't know. I was just humming that.
I have a theory though.
Don't
All right, go. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Nice to what? Then I stop.
Drake has a lot of women of color in the video. He has white women.
I was
in the
trying to
video.
figure out who the white girl was.
Listen.
I had to wait to the credits.
Any white girl in that video should be allowed to say nigga. If you're in that video,
disagree.
I'm saying,
Hot take. Here come the bubbling rumors of
Hey.
Charlamagne hitting black women.
no,
they're
if
bubbling
you're
up.
in
They're
that
bubbling up.
video,
They are bubbling up.
I know. I don't worry about that. If you're in that video and you're saying it while I'm in the video, it's my face. You're showcasing me, and it's the hook. Nice for what
Ooh.
to these niggas? How can you really be mad at her if she sings the song? She been on set all day, it's stuck in her head. You know what I'm saying? She's just randomly in Starbucks. Nice for what to these niggas? The person working at Starbucks mad as hell. What you mean nice? Nice to me because I work here. I'll spit in your tea. You
She
know what I
gets
mean?
a hall pass.
I think she should.
I can't co-sign that. But I think it's an interesting song. I think that he did women's empowerment very well.
Listen.
He did it better than women did.
I think Drake's running for office.
Which office?
I don't know. You give away $1 million like charity. You know what I'm saying? You just randomly give away $1 million. Now you pandering to women. The next video he probably gonna do Whitney Houston, I believe Children of the Future over. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be for kids. Like what? What is Drake got a scandal about to happen? Or is he just being nice?
Ooh, does Drake have some issues?
Maybe.
Does he have a Me Too?
No, I doubt that.
No.
That's the video you drop if you got a Me Too.
It is, but I don't think he has a Me Too.
Why not?
Introduce our guest
He's
first
a
of
nice
all.
guy.
And stop being
My
rude.
bad, yo. I'm sorry. Don't put it on me just because you don't know her name.
I don't.
He's
I had no idea
trying
we
to
were
be
having a
slick and
guest.
throw it on me.
This is
Yo, this is
horrible.
Ashley Coleman. I'm very excited to have you here.
How are you, Ashley?
Coleman.
Thank you.
We've
Nice.
had
Very nice.
Ashley's. Well, you're the better half,
The better half.
Right,
I'm
you're
the
the-
other half.
but that's what they call you. Call your wife your better half, right? Isn't
We
that the
can say that.
tradition?
That's
So
the
we've
tradition.
had Jaquavis here. Jaquavis.
Oh, the
Coleman.
author.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the both of them write the books together.
Yes.
Yes.
Right now, these books we know have been passed around prisons. They're more powerful than cigarettes. That's what they're saying.
Okay. Probably sticky too. But
That
continue.
is so gross. That is disgusting.
He did say that you write the love scenes.
Not all of them. I write a lot of them.
He said most of them. He said
write
you got
most
the
of
good
them.
imagination, and then we checked them on it. We were like, "Have you ever had her write a love scene?" And it was some shit that the both of you haven't done.
What? Wait, it's fiction.
I'm just saying.
It's
I would
There's always
need
a
to
little
know.
truth in some fiction.
I would need to know
No.
where these memories are coming from.
No. That when you're a writer, you just pull. You create. You create scenes that haven't been created before. You don't want to mimic something that's been read before. You want it to feel unique and fresh.
Yeah.
So it's just fiction.
Does it make y'all relationship stronger that y'all have this business together and y'all share this love of this art form?
It does, because before we were writers, we were readers, and we shared just a love of literature in general. But I never saw books with characters that looked like me or spoke like me or was from where I was from. Like, I'm from the bottom. So when we started to write together, we wanted to create that. We wanted to create that for people who look like us.
Yeah.
You know, so it keeps us close. We share the same passions. We work together every single day, all day.
Doesn't that get annoying?
No, like, that's my nigga. Like, that's my best friend. Like,
Nice for what to these niggas? You gotta be nice for what to these niggas?
like that's lit. Like, it's not corny. It's not like a corny bond that we have. You don't see us holding hands, and it ain't like that. Like, that's literally my very best friend. So it doesn't feel like work when we're working on these novels. It's just a passion that we share.
How do y'all feel knowing that that has been your audience for so long? You've targeted the black community, made stories for the black community, but now in Hollywood, the cool thing is to be diverse. Feels like it's starting to feel a little bit panderish out here, just a little.
Our stories, just because they're about black people and most of the characters are African American, doesn't mean it doesn't appeal to all people.
True
They're
indeed.
very relatable. The storylines are very Shakespearean. Like, we love literature, not just urban fiction or street fiction, as they call our genre. We are fans of classical literature. So we take plots and storylines and characters and make them relatable to all people. It's not just the black experience that we're writing about. We're writing about love. We're writing about loss. We're writing about tragedy. It's just
Universal themes.
Yeah, universal themes, which keeps the storylines universal to everyone.
Sometimes a different experience becomes fantasy for one group.
Yeah.
Like, your real life could be fantasy for me.
It definitely would be.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I was thinking about that with The Wire. We were talking about this on Westerbros. We did Westerbros for this last one for Ready Player One, which I want to talk to you guys about briefly. But and I was like, I think The Wire was Game of Thrones.
For white people.
For white people,
For us, it
right?
was
Like,
reality.
no, but think
For us,
about
it was
it. But think
reality.
about that's why the show is so dope. Is that one group of people can completely relate to the reality of this and go, I had an uncle like that, and I had a friend like that, I had someone in this situation.
It's called Baltimore.
No, dead ass.
Carmelo Anthony's life.
Yeah, well, kind of.
The Wire just pulled you into that world. So if you're not from that world, a lot of times you look at it and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that this happened.
But
I
in the
can't believe
same
people
way that
live
I'm
this way.
invested in these Game of Thrones characters in this complete fantasy world, I was invested in the Wire characters.
Yeah.
Right? And I just think that's great storytelling. When you
Absolutely.
get one group of people to relate to it and other people to watch it like, I can't believe this is a real thing. This is complete fan. You might as well have dragons in Baltimore.
But like Ashley
that's how
said,
foreign that world
But like you said, great story is great story.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, to me, that's just what it's about. Universal themes. We all like the same things. We like action. We like drama.
Yeah.
We like violence. We like tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We like a come up story.
The hero's journey, they call it, right?
So do the color of the faces really matter? You know what I mean? Like, if you're a good artist and a classic storyteller, I can get you to read a book about all black characters and you're feeling like you're right there in it. It doesn't matter what they look like.
But
I can write a book about white characters and get black people to
Isn't
feel
that
it.
what aliens have showed us? Like, sci-fi for years have used these alien characters that none of us have looked like. Orcs and shit.
You losing me.
meaning like they've used like Klingons in Star Trek. None of us look like a fucking Klingon.
Yeah.
There's only
You
one
don't know-
alien I ever felt sorry for in my life.
Who's that?
E.T. All right?
Why is that?
Because I know it's only a matter of time for the white people fuck them. They was going to put their fucking dicks in them sooner or later. I'm telling you. It was only a matter of time for he went from a science experiment to sexual intercourse.
Maybe that's payback for the aliens putting their shit in us.
Oh, you
Oh,
want
you
to
think you're the only one who can probe? Won't you take this, E.T.?
But truthfully, E.T. was the only alien I've ever felt sorry for. Maybe because that's the way the story was written, though.
Yeah, because
Probably.
you empathize with him. Every other
Yeah.
alien's trying to kill the planet.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck those aliens.
Yeah, he was just a lost guy.
Alf was a good alien.
Didn't feel sorry for Alf. Alf ate cats.
He did?
Yes, you know how sick you got to be eat cats?
Dude, I've been eating Chinese food since I'm like 7 years old. There's no way that there's not cats in the Chinese food. There's no way. There's no way that
All
it's
right,
possible.
Ashley, would you ever write that in a book?
Is this the idiot's portion?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. It depends how delicious that shit is. You don't think it's possible you've eaten a cat in your life? You go to Anguilla every single summer.
No, I'm pretty sure I've got a better chance of eating cat and dog here in America than
Anguilla?
Absolutely.
Are there a lot of stray cats in Anguilla?
Nah.
You want to know why that is?
By the way, though, if you have, I'm not
You be
even
eating
following you up.
Say
But
what?
it is.
Now say what you gonna say.
Truth to be told,
Yeah.
it's been plenty of times Chinese restaurants have been busted, and there's been animals and stuff in the back.
Yeah.
Foreign animals, little white mice, hawks, You know, like
wait.
Hawks.
you never heard about that? You never heard?
No.
I swear to God, I've read that before. They
If
found
I'm eating a hawk,
a
I want
frozen
to know
hawk.
it. That's some fancy meal.
Listen, I don't have a problem eating foreign stuff if it's good.
I would just like to be in a foreign place when I eat foreign stuff. Like, it's a delicacy in some countries, but
Yes.
I don't want to eat it here.
Yo, this
Yeah.
is exact like crickets, delicious in Thailand.
I've had chocolate covered crickets.
But
Chocolate
here-
covered crickets. Here, you're really poor.
Yeah.
Like you are
you're throwing up.
shockingly poor if you're eating insects here, and you can't just put a little Hershey's on top and be like, "Oh no, it's a delicacy."
Just
By the
when
way-
you're in the land, you need to be of the land.
Yo.
Yes.
But I'm not. In
So
the
back
land
home,
right
you're
now.
not eating cats here.
No.
But if you went to Cambodia, maybe you'd have a little bit
Maybe
of meow mix.
if I was like in the market and it was hanging
You
up,
said yeah. I mean,
maybe I would try.
you said
it.
something earlier. I do think the color of people matter because
do.
only because it adds to the story. Like are the struggle of a person adds to the story. Like we know minorities have it a bit more difficult.
They have a different show.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So it does add to the struggle of the story, especially if it's a hero's journey.
I think it adds to the character development of the story. At the end of the day, the elements of storytelling is always going to be the same. You know, you use those same elements. You just switch the players around. So I think the color of the character adds to how you relate to them, not necessarily
the struggle
how-
is relative,
Yeah,
right? Like
Yeah.
if you watch those like really rich soap opera worlds, like their struggles aren't the same as someone who's grown up in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, not at
but
all.
relative to the other characters in the show,
yeah.
right? It's like, I'm going to lose my business that's worth millions of dollars. And you're like, oh, God, please don't lose your $1 million business. You might only have one house to
Yeah.
go back to.
I realized that soap operas growing up weren't that good, and for that reason, they weren't relatable. You know what kept people tuning into soap operas?
What?
They never ended.
They still haven't.
They
ended.
still haven't ended. So it's like you're investing in something
Listen,
and you can't get away.
What
You can't
kept
get away
people
from
watching
it.
them is that women didn't start working until like 30 years
I
ago.
feel like they're
and they had
coming
nothing
to
to
an
do
end,
at home all
though.
day.
I don't know any young people that still watch soap.
Me neither.
Yeah.
My I got introduced to Days of Our Lives and stuff from my
Your
grandmother.
granny. Yeah.
Right, and I don't know who watches them now, but
Was
they're
she-
still
was she
on the
working?
air. Yeah, she worked. She worked at she worked at RA Ready Intermediate School. So she was a lunch lady, but she'd be home by 2:00. She that's school. So she'd be home by 2-3 o'clock.
I feel like
so that's what Days of Our
everybody's
Lives. and Dream House and
grandmother
all that
was a
come
lunch
on.
lady. My grandmother was a lunch lady.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like everybody in the hood, grandmother was a lunch lady.
I never met my grandma,
But-
guys.
But those stories weren't relatable to
Thanks
nobody.
for your empathy,
Really?
Charlamagne.
I didn't know. I was like, this don't feel like the truth.
Andrew just proved my point, though. The reason color mattered, because I don't care that he didn't meet his grandma. I don't know my father. I do. I do. But most black people don't. Oh, your grandma, please.
You see how he just co-opted the black struggle right there? You see his father's still in his life. He just co-opted it. I'm a black man. I ain't got no daddy, even though I got a daddy.
Your grandma, you get two of those in life. You knew one of them.
I never met none of my grandparents.
Whoa,
Yeah.
wow.
Really?
Well, my parents were just so old when they had me.
Oh, okay.
Old sperm, old eggs.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you're lucky to be here.
Yeah, I'm lucky to be here.
Oh, so they were. So your
My mom was 35 when she had me, 40 when she had Greg.
not
35
old.
isn't that old.
For white?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, a white 40?
Yeah.
A good white
That's
40?
more like a 55-ish.
That's dude, a white 40? That's a 60-year-old black.
That's what I'm gonna start telling
Yes,
black
it's
guys.
so crack.
That's what I'm
We're
gonna
not
start telling
cracking.
black people that age bad. I'm like, you a white 40.
Yo, tell them to their face. Yo, they got no Morgan Freeman in them.
I seen a picture of Morgan Freeman when he was a teenager, bro. Morgan never looked
Lies.
young. I promise
Lies.
you. Somebody posted it.
They didn't have cameras back then.
I've never seen
That's
him.
how old Morgan Freeman is. That shit was
never
300
seen
years ago before the fucking camera was invented.
What's your favorite story to write now?
My favorite story that I'm writing.
Yes. Or to write in general.
I like love stories. I'm on a love story kick. Well, we started out really gritty. We were young. The only thing that we had ever experienced was the struggle of the streets. So we were writing street shit. We were writing about gangsters and guns and drugs and all of that. But as I've grown and I've started a family and I'm a wife, I like to write about the dynamics between men and women. It's just my characters always have some type of street edge because that's just where I'm from. I can't erase that. But the root of it all is always love.
An ever-changing dynamic, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That love changes by the day.
Absolutely.
Love
you guys
is
mean by
always
that?
evolving.
It's not what you, it's like you said, it's always evolving. Like, it's not one thing.
So you're saying your love with your person specifically?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you guys have noticed that the love change?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How so?
Because, I mean, I've been with my, how long you in,
For
Jaquavis.
Oh, wow. For about 16 years.
I've been with my wife 20 years.
Wow.
We've been married for 4. So, you know, you start off with just a regular lust.
The-
I want to fuck this young lady.
So vulgar.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then, that evolves into damn.
Keep
I
that
actually,
same energy with the vulgar, because I've read some of your pages.
and
And it gets wild.
They're not that
It gets
vulgar.
wild.
But then it evolves to I like this young lady. You
Right.
know what I mean? Then it evolves to damn, I actually really care about this young woman. But that's still your girlfriend.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're still fucking other women and all of this stuff like that.
Oh, this is the word.
No, it's the truth. And then
Is that how this goes from a male perspective?
Yo,
That ain't how it goes.
It
from
is a
female
battle of
perspective.
fruition.
Yes.
You just got to wait us out.
and then the time.
I believe that.
When you start.
But
Wait
you can't
us
be mad
out.
when you lose a good thing because you got her waiting you
Oh, I
out.
lost
That's
her.
on us.
I lost her.
Yeah, he lost
But
her.
not really because she came back. She's your wife now, right?
Yes.
But she put her finger in his butt.
Wait, what?
Well, we still evolved.
That was the
It's part of the
payback.
evolution.
Pause.
but you go. But the time kept us as friends because it's hard to and I'm sure it's like that with you. It's hard to separate from someone when you know their parents and you know their siblings. You know their whole family. Like
Now,
they.
this was the difference between that and us. We pulled ourselves away from everyone when we first met. I moved out with him when I was 16 years old into a tiny one-bedroom apartment. It might have been the size of the studio. But
What was the name of the coat?
What was the name of the what?
The coat.
The what?
The coat y'all joined.
The coat. The coat?
Yes.
It was no coat. It was like, it was just that young, passionate love. Like, and I know this sounds so cliche, but for a long time, it was just he and I against everybody. Like, we didn't give a fuck what nobody was saying. My mama hated it. You know, my parents were like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be away at college. But I was riding for him. When I met him, I knew that was the person that I was going to be with for the rest of my life. Without a doubt, at 15 years old.
But I mean, you know the dynamics of love change when you have children.
Oh, yeah.
It
Oh,
changes
yeah.
when you get married.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Ours didn't change when we got married.
Really?
It felt exactly the same. We woke up the next day and was like, this shit is the same.
I feel like I love my wife more.
Did you? See,
When
no, if you ask him, the answer may be different.
Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
said when he saw you, he felt you. No, he said
He said it was the way you carried a gun.
No,
Like,
he said
it was something about drugs. It was something about drugs.
No, he
the
said he
guns.
felt you in colors he didn't know how to describe.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's because his life was very hard as a child. Like, he grew up very
Yeah.
rough.
Are you trying to say that he had the crayon box with not a lot of colors?
No, I'm just saying that
He just had like 6?
I was the first person to show him that love and that loyalty. And that first person is like hearing your child say, mama, for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, that's mine forever.
Yo,
Didn't
can I tell you
you,
something about my boy just had a kid and his kid is saying mama
Instead of dada?
And he's not saying dada yet. This is how crazy guys are, right? He's kind of sociopathic a little bit like Charlamagne. And I go,
Charlamagne.
is that you feel bad that he's not saying dada? And without even blinking, he goes, nah, he don't even really know he's saying mama. He's just going, man. And I'm like, that's what you got to tell yourself
He's
to
hating.
justify
Yeah,
that your kid don't love you as
That's
much
what-
as mama.
That's what mothers say. Yeah, he don't know he's saying dada. Like, it's a little bit of jealousy.
Well, kids don't love daddy though.
What?
Kids love daddy like they. It's like I was thinking about this weekend. My children love me like they don't have any other choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my dad. Like, and I find myself saying that to them. Like, you only got one dad. Y'all gonna realize that. You know what I mean? At one day. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, that's how they really act.
I think that children know that mothers are the nurturers, so they just need us more.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially at the young stages. I think. How old is you have a daughter?
9 and 2.
9 and 2.
The
Oh, you have a
2-year-old ain't fucking
2-year-old.
with me at all.
That's because the mother is the nurturer. The older that
you ain't got no
children
breast
get-
milk?
She ain't breastfeeding her no more.
Get some titty
But
milk, bro.
even
You be
still,
good.
Like, starting at that, like, just that connection between a child and their mother when you're breastfeeding, it was unlike anything I had ever felt. It was just a connection. Like, we go through hell bringing these kids into the world, and y'all just like shooting up the club, and y'all just like, yeah, daddy, y'all get the title. So we get that nurturing feeling from the kids in the beginning.
Okay, here's a question. You're lucky because you do what you love,
I do every day.
right? I mean, we're all pretty lucky in that way, right?
Yeah.
But as a mother, you go through this excruciating experience of not only bringing a child into the world, but also the raising that 0 to 1 child.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean,
It's
people.
work.
It is fucking work. You're
Yeah.
not sleeping. It's constant
Yeah.
stress, right? And then you have to go back to your job. You're lucky that you love your job.
Yeah.
Is it not surprising that women don't want to go back to their work where they're just fucking making copies of paper and shit like that? Like, isn't that on some level beneath them after they have a kid?
It is, but some women don't have a choice.
I know they don't have a choice, but if you did have a choice, like
I
let's
would
say your
never go
husband,
back.
especially if you didn't love what you're doing, it's
Yeah.
beneath. You're gonna have your boss tell you to make a copy.
Yeah. I would never go. I don't even know how women continue to work while they're pregnant. Like, I just feel like women are just mystical ass creatures, because when I was pregnant, I was dead to the bed. There was no getting up. I was so sick. I lost like 20 pounds before I ever gained one. So when I thought about like my mom having to get up and go to work, or just either my friends who had kids and still had to clock in for 9 hours, 10 hours.
Insane.
I was like, how the fuck do they do
Cardi
this?
B about to show y'all how
Listen,
you do it, okay?
hey,
Cardi B about to go get these M's
Hey,
while
I feel
pregnant.
her.
All right?
I respect it.
Okay.
I respect
You
it.
saw how she's guilting us into buying the album?
She didn't have to guilt me.
Nah.
I knew the album was going to be fire.
I knew it
Could have
was gonna
dropped
be
that
good,
shit a
too.
few months ago. She said, why don't you put a bun in the oven?
Nah, the-
Pump up these sales
No,
real quick.
the ill thing about Cardi is she had an album done last year, but she didn't like it.
This same project.
Yeah, like, cause Atlantic. When you sign to a record label, she
Yeah.
signed to Atlantic. They wanted
Yeah.
her to make certain records and had her doing
Yeah.
certain records that she didn't feel like was her. But she was trying it because she's not afraid to try new
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
But she was like, nah, this ain't me.
And you have to respect that, because you only get to drop your first project
Boom.
one time.
And I told her that. I told her that last year. I'm like, look, make the music you want to make. Like,
Yeah.
you got here being you. Don't
Yeah.
stray away
She
from
did.
that formula. Just elevate it.
She
Yeah.
did.
You know what I mean? And that's what she did.
Yeah.
And this album really sounds like her. And the beauty of it is she's like 5 months pregnant now,
Yeah, she looks
right?
like
Because
she
she's
was far
doing
along.
July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's doing July. So she been out here
Yeah.
recording the album, cooking, doing shows, making these appearances, and nobody
But
knew.
At the same time, she's still doing something she loves. You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
Like,
You can do it if you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't love it, I completely empathize and understand the women who are like, I just don't want to go back to work. Because how could you? You just brought life into the
And she's
fucking
making
world.
millions doing what she did.
Exactly.
she's good.
That's the big
That's
difference.
There's
Yeah.
a difference
She's
between
fine.
$9 an hour
Facts.
and what, $100,000 a show, or
Man,
however
that's
much
when you
she's
start hating your
getting
baby daddy. He's like, I make $9 an
I don't know
hour. He
nothing
makes
about
$7.
that.
All right.
I don't know nothing about that. I made sure I got my ring very early. No baby.
When y'all
daddy
get married?
status. When we were 23.
Wow.
2008. We've been married. This year will be 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I knew my worth. What? Like, you can't just be a girlfriend forever.
That is a fact.
Wow.
Listen, I've only.
You
This will be my
can't.
4th year.
You said it?
Said what?
You said you have to marry me?
No,
Or-
I didn't say that, but I think he just knew that the stakes were high. By that point, at 23, we had already been living together for 5 years. We already had like 4 or 5 books on a bestsellers list. Like, we already had this life built
Yeah.
together. So it's like, this, okay.
He couldn't even lie to you and be like, look, man, we're going to get married once I get my shit together.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
our shit is already together. So it was just kind of like, let's either make the commitment, or there was never really an or, but he just knew. I think he just knew he had a good thing.
Plus,
Like,
you want to make an honest woman out of your
Yeah.
wife. Why not?
and then we had a lot of people to prove wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I moved out when I was 16.
This guy's so funny, man. he goes, plus you want to make an honest woman have your wife.
Seriously.
Took him 17 fucking
It don't
years
matter, he
to
did
do
it.
that
But we
shit.
started at 16, though. That's,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Because the average, like, the
16
average,
is
my
different.
friends are getting married now at like
Yeah.
30, 31, 32. I
Yeah.
got married 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
think about the level of maturity at 23 compared to now, when probably we should have been getting married. We endured the test of time, so there's nothing that can come at us that would just be
So
like, okay, it's over.
Both of you guys met your significant others young,
Yep.
and you grew with them.
Yes.
Yep.
I have a feeling that this process of I'm going to date 1 million people, then find somebody when I'm 35 is actually the wrong way to do it. We assume it's the right way because we're like, oh, then you'll meet someone that you really like. But maybe we get along best with the people that we've grown with.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I disagree.
Even though you have this special...
Even though I have it, I feel like I'm not the norm. I don't think that I'm the norm, because especially for men, I feel like women can commit a lot earlier in their lives than men, because we are loyal creatures.
It's a fact.
Yeah,
I think men
Drake has
need
figured that
their
out.
20s to get all of that bullshit out of their systems. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of mature and be ready for marriage. Marriage is not easy. It's
That's a
hard
fact.
work. It's like work every day. You have to work to improve your marriage every single day. If you don't pour into it, you have the world taking pieces out of it.
What does that mean? You have to to work on it every single day. I
That
always hear
means in
people
your
talk about
20s,
that.
you on some nice for what to these women? You gotta be nice for what to these women?
That's a realistic. I feel like for men, that's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most men want to settle down in their early 20s.
Well, I think it's important to realize that like when a woman gets married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that she wants is achieved. When a man gets
Why
married,
not?
I love this. Go ahead. It's mansplaining.
Because I don't believe
Andrew's
that.
the expert on everything. Okay.
Everything gender-wise, yeah. So, okay, so like, and I'm not saying this is all women, but maybe it's not even you. But the idea is like when women are young,
95%. He's saying.
95%. When women are young, they're thinking about their wedding, right? They're thinking about the man that they're going to be with. They want one man that's going to be with them. I don't think women are going up. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to fuck 4 dudes at one time and then do that
we're
for a few
definitely
years,
not
and then
doing
have 2 boyfriends that both come fuck
I
me.
don't know. We
Listen.
just had the Horrible Decisions podcast last week. They in
exactly.
there on some shit, pal.
And they lonely.
What? They like, I want 3
But
dicks.
listen, though, no, this is
Shouts
the reality
to
of
both
it.
of them. They were great. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like a lot of women have this idea of a marriage, and that's what they want the whole time growing up. And I think women will date a bunch of people, but the desire is not to have all these different sexual partners.
Right.
If anything, they want to keep their numbers low.
You got to keep your mileage low.
Keep your mileage low, right? Whereas a man, when he gets married, he gives up everything, right? We want lots of mileage.
Why, though?
Not really. I just want to fuck who I want to fuck. Freely.
You see how he disagree and then agree? You see how he does to me? This motherfucker just disagreed and say it more
I don't like how
eloquently.
you trying to paint us as men. No, yeah, mileage sounds so cheap.
I think you might have painted you guys worse.
We want lots of miles. Not exactly.
Exactly.
I just want to fuck everything.
I just want to fuck who I want to fuck freely.
That's a
So,
better way of
okay,
saying it.
would you
I guess what I'm
rather-
saying is we're giving up our natural desire, which is to go put our seed in as many people as we possibly, or women as we possibly can, to be with one person. So we sacrifice for your dream.
So would you rather own 1 Bentley or 40 Hondas?
Well, it depends what I do for a living.
No.
What year Honda?
No.
I mean,
Some bitches in 1999, some of us 2005.
Hey,
some
I'm
of
not
us
gonna lie to you.
2017.
You drive around the same Bentley every once in a while, and you see a Honda, like, man,
look good.
I like to
Honda
ride
look
that
good.
little rice rocket, motherfucker.
See,
Let's
I
go.
can't.
I ain't gonna lie, some of these 1998 Hondas popping out here, man. They're like 24 now.
With the hatchback, I get an Asian to soup it up real quick. Yo, we good.
No.
You don't want to ride it forever. You just want to hop in that bitch.
Oh,
You're
man,
a 40.
it's just a Honda. I'm
That's
just
it.
going to the store.
That's what I'm
I'll be right back home to the Bentley.
It's horrible.
All right, we take the Bentley out for the special occasions. I'm just taking the Honda to the store. I'll be right back.
This is horrible.
Done.
Nah, I'm
During
with
lunch
you.
break.
No, I'm with you. I would much rather have the Bentley.
Well, I just feel like you have to, because it's more than just sex, right? When you connect
Yes.
with your partner, it's more than just a sexual connection. Like mentally, you have to stimulate me. Like it can't just be this shallow connection, because that gets old. You can get good sex from anywhere, but you can't always get a mental connection with someone.
But that's what I mean, even too, by levels and the dynamics change, because, like, you know, not only is my woman my wife and the mother of my children, she's really the keeper of the house.
Yes.
I'm talking about the bills and the organization,
Yes.
and I wouldn't have no furniture. Like, I don't know how to do nothing. Like, I'm serious. I don't wash clothes. I don't do any of it. I don't know how to organize shit in the house. Like, you know how you grew up with your parents and your parents knew how to organize
Yes,
a house?
That's what a wife does.
Boom.
She's like the manager of the house. I feel like men are the walls in the home, but the women are the foundation. Like, we just keep everything together effortlessly.
Effortlessly.
It's just, we're nurturers. We want to take care of you.
I have a neighbor that I invited over to my house. Shout out to Sue's, my neighbor. And she just started pointing out all the things I need in my house.
Yeah.
And then she started buying them. And then I would just Venmo her.
So we trying to get some dick.
She might be trying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How old
but
is
like
Sue?
she's older than me. She's not getting no dick. No. We friends. We friends.
You listen,
You got me hot. You got me hot out here, bro. Come on.
turning
Come on, bro.
red.
She's on the board of the building. She's on the board, bro.
shit.
I'm about to get kicked out.
That's how you got in.
All of a sudden, she started complaining.
Exactly.
You know, she started complaining about noise. Listen, you weren't complaining about noise before? No, I'm saying. But yeah, I think that there's this instinctual thing to be like, he needs help. This guy clearly doesn't understand how to make this a home, like you said. And, you know, she came and she hooked it up. We did not have sex.
No, you feel like that in the house too. Like, I got 2 daughters, so it's just like I'm kind of spoiled, except for the 2-year-old, because she don't fuck with me. But I can't get her to do anything yet. But, like, you know, my 9-year-old, she's doing
crazy
things
about
now.
you.
Yeah, she got
Yeah.
chores and all kind of. Like, it's fun, but I need a boy. You know, I still
Yeah,
need
you
some
need a boy.
testosterone in the house. How many you got? What you
I
got?
have one
Okay.
son. He's 7.
You want a girl?
No.
Really? Why not? Tell me why. Scare me.
It's just a personal reason. Like, right now, my career is taking off.
Got
So
you.
Yeah.
the type of mother that I am to my son, it was when he was born, everything else stopped. Like, I didn't give a fuck about no books, like no book tours. I didn't care about a deadline. Like, it was all about him for at least 2 years. So I can't do that right now. Like, the aspirations and the trajectory of my career it's looking too good for me to just kind of be barefoot and pregnant right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
What stories do you enjoy? Did you see Drake's video?
I did.
Did you enjoy the story? 'Cause I'm gonna be honest with you, I got so lost in the storyline of that video, I don't even know what he's saying in the song. I'm dead ass serious.
Me too.
I turned that video on Friday night because Fallon was on, and I saw everybody tweeting about it, so I turned it on to watch it. I heard the Lauryn Hill sample, and then I got lost in the visual.
Yeah. The visual was excellent.
But what was it? What was the message?
I feel like the message was like, be nice for what? Exactly. As a woman, sometimes we're taught that we have to be nice. We have to come in a room smiling. We can't say no. Yeah. There's like an intimidation factor, and you have to be like a really strong woman to just not give a fuck about that and say and do what you feel. I think that his message was, do it for what? Like, you don't have to succumb to those pressures.
Very interesting coming from Drake, though, because he's the same guy who's made a career of kind of like being upset that women weren't being nice to him. You know what I'm saying? And now he's on some nice for what to these
maybe
ladies.
he's like, yo, if y'all ain't gonna be nice to me, don't be nice to nobody.
To nobody.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Might be hating.
Maybe.
Keep
for
the
real.
same energy.
Keep the same energy with everybody. For real.
Ladies love Drake, though. Like, I feel like he knows how to cater his music to us. So it was just an ode to
Drake
women.
has read Soul of the Superior Man.
I haven't read that.
Great book, and he is very in touch with the feminine divine that lives within us all.
I believe that.
Yes.
What's that mean?
The bitch that lives within us all. All right. That person, okay? That he's very in tune with that individual, and he knows how to talk. He knows how to talk to other women. Like,
know how to talk that
And
talk.
I'm done playing when I say
He's
bitch,
good
but
at the finesse.
yes, and that's exactly what it is, and I'm not mad at it. Because he beat Chance the Rapper to it. Because I'm telling you, Chance was
He
about
has
to...
that too, though. He has that, like, where women like him too. Like, certain artists just, they will always have a more feminine appeal.
I feel like Drake beat Chance to it. I feel like Drake saw Chance tweet when Chance said, I'm standing with Monique, and then Chance said black women deserve better, which I thought was two different issues. All right, okay. Well, I agree with you. Black women deserve better, but Monique is. I know Monique's a black woman, but I feel like that was two different issues. And I feel like Drake saw that, and Drake was like, "Oh, I know how to beat Chance the Rapper to the punch." So he did this video with all these women of color, sprinkled a couple of white women in them, so he pleases his mom, and boom.
I do feel like that was smart because otherwise it would have been an ode to black women, and it would have been an issue, but all women. So yeah, that was smart.
Enough black women where it seems like it's about black women.
Because I thought it was about black women.
Me too.
Then I was like, oh, is that Michelle
There's a little white girl thrown in there, but it wasn't a famous enough white girl that we knew what she did.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys know who that was
No.
in the video? It was Olivia Munn.
Isn't
but
Olivia Munn? I thought she was popping. I don't know.
I don't know what
What
she's
did she
in.
do?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. I think she's. I'm pretty sure she's popping.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. I just
Yeah.
didn't know.
Jennifer
her by
Aniston
face.
was busy, I guess, guys.
Yeah, are old.
Is she?
All right. Okay. I'm just saying, and I mean, listen, it worked. Drake
It did
got him.
work. I like the
He got him.
video, and
He
I like
got
the
him.
song.
He got him. It's a cool. I don't know what he's saying in the record.
I feel like Cardi kind of took my attention away from that video though, because I didn't care about anything but Cardi's album when it dropped.
Well, Drake took the attention from Cardi for
I
a
don't
second.
think so.
For 1 second. One moment.
I didn't care
I didn't care either.
Yeah,
What
I didn't
is
care.
the allure of Cardi for you as a woman?
because she's from the bottom. Like, she's from the bottom, and she didn't let an industry that's known to change women and to mold women into what they want them to be. She's herself.
Hero's journey.
And she's successful at it,
Mm-hmm.
and people relate to her. Like, then she came from the club. I feel like Cardi has an advantage because she came from the strip club, and strippers know anthems.
Yes.
I feel like her whole album is anthems.
Yes, Bickenhead.
Yeah, that's the
Money
shit.
Bag.
The only thing I feel like Bickenhead was missing, I was waiting
Project
for Project
Pat.
Pat. I was waiting,
Project
like, where
Pizzle.
is he? I was in my
Project
car.
Pizzle.
Is that the In My Project? Is that guy?
No, that's Cuckoo Cow.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. If you want to talk about Coldplay or Nirvana or anything like that, I'll just be right over here, okay? You got any Green Day questions? I
Green
can
Day
answer all
actually
those.
shouted out
I
Cardi.
know, I saw that.
Listen, man, but that's exactly what it is. The hero's
Yeah,
journey.
yeah.
She's from the bottom, and I think that this is the first time we've seen it documented.
Yeah.
Meaning we digitally saw it step by step.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you was here in New York, you saw it, up close and personal. But
Yeah.
for everybody else, you saw it online. You saw the growth. You saw the teeth get fixed. You saw the acne disappear. Like,
But she
glowed
claimed
up.
all of that. Most of the
All
time,
of it.
people will make you memes. Like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, she got her teeth fixed.
No, she
like, she
owned every
claimed,
one
she
of it,
said
yeah.
it. Like, yeah, I got a bag and got my teeth fixed. Who's not going to do that?
she tells you the truth about her plastic surgery, her
Yeah.
implants. How she got ass shots from the doctor that killed somebody. Like I'm serious.
The one in New York?
The one in New York.
Oh, wow.
Like she's owning everything. So
Yeah.
it's the hero's journey.
It takes strength to do
She's
that, too.
She's good. This is her victory lap.
Oh,
I agree.
I don't give a fuck what happens to Cardi after this.
No,
I
it's
want her to
done.
grow and continue to
I want her
evolve.
to,
she
too.
killed.
Which
she's
she
done.
will. TV and film is absolutely her next lane. But even if she just decides, you know what, I'm gonna take these coins I got, be a mother and relax, she won.
I don't want her to do that.
I don't want her to do that
I
either.
want her to keep going.
Me too.
Yeah, she's just, I don't know. I find her so engaging watching her.
Yeah.
Like, she's really brilliant. And I think part of her brilliance is pretending to kind of dumb it down. I think she's the smartest person in the room, and she has no problem, like, making other people think they're smarter than her.
Well, the smartest person in the
Really?
room, I always tell y'all, is
She's
the
the
person who's not
quietest.
not
Well,
only
she's
the
not
quietest,
quiet,
the
but
person,
she-
the person who's just simply not afraid to say, I don't know.
That's true.
That's actually
true.
that's what intelligence is. Intelligence isn't talking about every subject. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Intelligence is when you don't know something, sitting back, asking questions like she does.
Most of the time when you talk a lot, you don't know shit. Like, it's just like you're kind of just trying to talk circles around people.
Yeah.
To, like, have you ever met someone that tells you something about, like, say if we were having the conversation about Chichen Itza, and they just keep
What the fuck
talking.
is shit, Denise?
You don't know what you asked the question. That's very smart, Charlamagne.
But did you hear what? Yeah, this is why he's so great at marketing. This guy just convinced everybody that not knowing anything is the real smart people.
No, not being afraid to ask
I
questions.
know. But he just reframed the narrative.
But the know- but no,
if
the
you don't
know-
know nothing, you really the
The
intelligent one
know-it-all,
in the
but
room.
the
yo.
know-it-all knows nothing.
They don't.
That's why
Actually, they know it all.
That's why in my book I say give people
That's
the
what
credit.
the know-it-all knows. It's
No,
all
they-
of it.
No, the person,
Einstein, you're right. Einstein's an
yeah,
idiot.
the person that no,
That guy Einstein's
but
fucking
Einstein
dumb.
didn't know it all. It's the person that pretends to know it all.
Yeah.
That's basically what that quote is saying. That quote is saying the person that pretends to know it all
Yeah.
actually knows nothing.
The guy who's pretending to know it all is coming from a place of insecurity, right? He's
Yeah.
like constantly going, "Hey guys, I'm smart. Hey guys, I'm
Yeah.
smart. Hey guys, I'm
Yeah.
smart." But there are people that have tons of information and they feel fine asking you. They feel confident in their intelligence, so they can say, "I don't know. Please
Yeah,
explain."
because they're speaking what they know.
Exactly,
Einstein was
yeah.
great at the theory of relativity, but I'm sure it might have been something simple that Einstein don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Like marrying your cousin.
I don't know. Combing your
Married his
hair.
fucking
you know what I
comb
mean?
it. Little thing. Yeah.
Little
How you
things.
get the comb through it?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I'm saying he was good
That's
at
how you
one-
know he didn't have any black friends.
He was smart at one thing, but he probably didn't know anything about another.
yeah.
And that's really everybody, by the way.
That it's most people. Most people have a level of expertise in one area, and then
Yeah.
we go through our lives seeking knowledge in the other areas that we
And
lack.
smart people will ask questions outside of I don't know, but like there's a curiosity, right? It's like when they
Yeah.
sense somebody has information that they don't have, they become this like mine.
The sponge.
They're they're
A
like,
sense of
"Oh,
discovery.
Yeah.
Because life is all about constantly learning.
Yeah.
Like you never stop learning. As soon as you think you know everything, you're done.
Have you
It's
ever
a
met
wrap.
those people that don't want to learn though?
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I can't have those type of people around me. They just suck the knowledge right out of you.
Yeah.
You know what though?
They don't even take knowledge, right? They don't take nothing from
Yeah,
you.
no, they just make you feel dumb.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why are you even around me?
I have a slight admiration for those kind of people.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you why. It's really slight. Because for them to be so confident in what they know and what they believe that they don't want to learn shit else is admirable.
I don't think it's confidence. I think it's fear.
I think
You
it's
think
fear
so?
too.
I think that people who don't listen are afraid of the truth, and I think that they are set in the way that they live and they're comfortable there, and they have this real fear that if they're exposed to new information, they might have to change their ways, and they're just already comfy in their ways.
You used to say that though. You used to be like, don't tell me the truth.
Something
I don't wanna know the
about-
truth.
but about some things.
Yeah.
Like, give me an example.
I don't know any examples.
Oh,
remember
I
you
don't
used
want to
say
know
that.
like side effects for like a pill I'm taking.
Boom.
Because then I feel like it will stop.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, if
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
taking Propecia so my hair doesn't fall out, right? And
Don't
like,
tell me it gives me impotence too.
exactly.
I need this hair.
That's not
Because,
worth it.
You know, because if I don't get it up one time, be like, it's a goddamn Propecia, my dick's never gonna work.
Yeah.
So there's certain things where I'm like superstitious about.
Yeah.
See, and I'm the type I want to know it all.
Really?
Yeah, I want to like Google is my best friend. Like I will research something just to research it. Like I just
That doesn't
want.
give you anxiety. Like
It does. I'm very anxious. I'm an anxious person. I make myself anxious, but I can't. Lack of knowledge makes me like it just makes me itch.
Yeah, I want as much information as possible. I think the biggest thing, the hardest thing to do is not internalize all the information you get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can read something and know it, but you don't have to necessarily believe
Apply it to you.
Or apply it to
You
you.
create
Yeah.
the barrier between you and that information that's scaring the fucking shit out of you.
It's just information.
Most information doesn't scare me.
You got a little thing on your shoulder, right? Your little bruise
I'm
on your
not guessing
shoulder.
with that. I'm not playing like WebMD.
Oh, you straight to the doctor.
I'm going to the doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all of us got that fancy literature insurance.
Listen, hey, when that kicked in, that Writers Guild, I never felt more grown in my life.
You went right there for everything. I'm coughing.
Give me where the doctor.
I'm like that now. That's what health insurance is all about, baby.
Yeah, it makes you feel grown, like grown as shit.
That's why
Especially when you come from a place. I didn't always we come from the bottom, the very bottom. Like healthcare wasn't always accessible. Like literally, single parent household. Like grew up on welfare. I remember when or NyQuil. I was like,
NyQuil.
taking NyQuil. The shit says on the label, do not take until
or
age.
tea with honey.
Yeah.
Hot tea and honey with some toast and cheese.
The NyQuil
hot
shit is so real because all it does is just make you go to sleep. So
Yeah.
it's like, listen, I know you're dying, but if you sleep, then you're not going to complain.
So that's like, it's an accomplishment. Like every step of my career has felt like an accomplishment to me because I'm changing the narrative for my family. You know what I mean? Like I'm the first successful person in my family.
You're doing something that a lot of people and myself included don't do enough, which is comparing yourself to who you used to be instead of comparing yourself to your contemporaries.
Oh, no, I don't compare myself to anyone.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
It will make you miserable. Like if I'm just comparing myself to other comedians that are better off than me or other people or on podcasts that are better off than me. But if I compare myself who I was last year and I feel like I got a little better.
Absolutely.
It's about the growth. It's about the evolution of me as a woman. I don't even really look towards the future because I already know that that's set. Like as long as I'm breathing, I know that I'm going to get to it. Like I've always been the person that what I want, I eventually get. Through hard work. Like I'm just a hard worker. I'm not afraid to go after what I want, no matter how unattainable it seems. I remember the first time I realized that I was poor. I was in the 4th grade and we were on welfare. I had no idea. My mom, I don't have that story where the lights were out, the heat was off, you know what I mean? So I didn't necessarily know that we were lacking something. I went to school. I was this cute kid, very nice, and I wanted to contribute to the canned food drive at school. And I went to my mom and said, Mom, they're having a canned food drive. Can I take cans to school? She said, yeah. Don't take my green cans. Take the ones with the black and white letters. And back in the day, it was like black and white peas, corn.
EBT.
Yeah,
Welfare.
yeah. You wasn't buying the stuff out the store. They were sending you food. So I took that, having no idea, that it was a lower quality food, and I sent it to school. Kids at my school tore my ass up, y'all. Like, it was just like Laugh Fest 2010. Like, they were just on top of me about being poor. Oh, my God, you're on welfare. And I went home in tears. And that was the first moment I realized I cannot grow up poor. I can't have kids and be poor. And I told my mom, I was like, they call me poor. And she was like, well, you are poor. We are poor. And I was like, well, I'm not poor. I'm never going to be poor. And from that moment on, I worked to accomplish
You was rich in spirit. What did your mama say when you came home and told her, like, they teasing me about these cans?
She was just kind of like, they probably got those cans too. She just didn't care. Like, it was just kind of like, this is the circumstance. This is what we're living with. Yeah. You got shoes on your feet, clothes on your back. You got a roof over your head. That's all you need.
That's what I would say. How do you know about those cans?
Yeah. But, I was in the 4th grade,
I
so I wasn't that witty yet.
Yeah.
Like, now it's a different story. But back then, it just broke my spirit. And I think that is the drive. I've used that little seed, planted it, and have watched it grow.
That's the furnace.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like, black people thrive in any environment, especially when you come from the bottom.
Yeah.
Because you can't reverse the circumstance. Like, you can't take a rich, privileged kid and put him in the ghetto, put him in the country, in the bottom, and he wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be lost. Like, completely
There's
lost.
no resilience.
None whatsoever. None. Because it's extremes, right? When you've had the worst.
Yeah.
When you're around the best, you're like, whatever.
This is extra. I ain't supposed to have this.
Yes, and you don't get gassed. Because you never quite feel like it's yours anyway.
You know
you feel like they can take it away
That's
at any moment.
That's the truth. That is the truth. Sometimes, especially when we started breaking into Hollywood, we would be in these meetings with these executives, the head of Warner Brothers, and I would just be sitting back like, they don't know who they let in this building. Like, how am I here right now? It didn't feel like I was supposed to be there. And I think it's because of that. Like, because of where I come from, I'm like, I'm sitting around with all these people, and I'm from a place where it was not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. It's funny you say that about executives because when somebody on my team was talking about how when we go in meetings and we're talking to these executives, it could be the president or whoever or whatever, and I'm in there like that shit is whack. I'm not doing that. Or you're culturally clueless.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's not insulting. We're just having conversation, and that's
Yeah.
how I'm talking.
Right.
And at the end of the meeting, when everyone's like, "Oh my God,
I can't believe he
I
said
can't
that.
believe you said that, but that was great. You know,
Yeah.
you totally got it."
Yeah.
And it kind of makes them. It makes them. They like, "I'm glad you." People that work here be like,
Yeah.
"I'm glad you said that to him. I'm waiting for somebody to say that to him." And I'm like, "Why aren't y'all talking like that?"
Because they scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Scared of losing it.
this ain't my livelihood. I'm
Yeah.
good.
This
I'm
extra.
good. Like,
Yeah.
remember how I said with Cardi, I said, "Yo, whatever happens after this,
Crazy.
She's good.
because
Yeah.
she's from the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm from the bottom. I'm cool."
There's my mother, and this is not a knock on my dad. I think my dad's an incredibly brave guy, but my mom has this exceptional bravery. And she comes from nothing in Scotland, stopped going to school at 15, 16 years old, comes to America and has this amazing success story here. And my dad ends up working for my mom and together in this business. But my dad was always impressed by her lack of fear. Like he would tell me privately when she wasn't around. He's not even trying to get in her good graces. He'd be like, "Your mom's not afraid of anything, Andrew. You're not afraid of anything." Like, let's get this property. My dad's like, "Well, I don't know if we should do that. Like it's my it's savings and that kind of thing." My mom would be like, "Shut up, let's fucking do it." And then boom, we're set. Like literally, very kind of strong. But I think that comes from when you come from the bottom. You're not afraid of the bottom.
You're not.
Nope.
You've already existed and
I know how to
thrived.
survive there.
I know how to survive
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So in my mind, I didn't come from the bottom. I came from a very comfortable upbringing, right? So I have a little bit of a fear of that,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't know what's going down there. I don't know how I'll function there. I like the comforts that I've grown with. But my mom was like, "Yeah, let's go." So I lose it. So what? I'll build it back. I already built it.
Oh yeah.
And a part of me is very envious that she has that strength that has gone through that level of adversity.
She did it so you wouldn't have to do it, though.
I'm
You know what
completely
I mean?
appreciative.
And the beauty in a person like her is she isn't afraid to fall because she did it once, she can do it again.
That's
the
it.
beauty is doing it twice, not once. Once you luck up on some stuff.
I don't want to fall, but I understand what
No,
you're saying.
but you know what I mean? I'm saying, like, if I built this business, let's start another one and do that one.
Absolutely.
Again. Well,
Like,
that one, the first one is
Shit.
still thriving.
50 Cent.
And you know how to do it.
50 came
And I know
up.
how to do it. I got the blueprint. I've already done it. So there's really no fear. Now, my son, on the other hand, most suburban kid you're ever going to meet.
So that's my question for you. Like, he's not going to have the same adversity that you had, and possibly not the same resilience. It's almost like when the king who takes the throne has I don't want to say your son is weak, but has a weak prince.
I know what
thinking
you
about
mean.
this.
So
The
how do you?
privileged prince.
So the privileged prince. So how do you curate that person so he has the same bravery you have?
I don't know the answer to that yet because I do.
I'll tell you in a
You
minute.
do know. I see. There's just a difference. Like I grew up in Flint, so there was just a roughness. Like I grew up amongst sharks, so I'm not afraid to walk into any boardroom. I'm not afraid to walk in the studio and banter with y'all.
heard
I'm not
it.
afraid of nobody.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
just
yeah.
not gonna happen. But he's growing up so privileged. I don't know how to put that same dog in him. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to put that same bite behind him.
We need hood
Charla?
amusement parks.
Talk to me.
We need hood amusement parks, but we're not gonna call them amusement parks. It'll be like hood depression parks. You know what I'm saying? Hood not funny parks.
Don't we call
Or
that
we need
send you back to spend the summer with your grandma?
With grandma.
maybe, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Or we need like some virtual reality hood shit. Like these kids gotta feel it without feeling it. They gotta get
Yo.
as close to the hood as possible without actually being in the hood. They need to know how good they got
have
it.
Yeah, because my son
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
has
My
no clue.
daughter has no idea.
Yeah.
She gonna learn today.
Where me and her mom come from. Like
Yeah.
she goes back home to Monk's Corner, you know what I'm saying? But
She's visiting. She's
yes,
visiting.
and by the way, my wife grew up pretty good. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I had the total opposite. My mother was a school teacher, but my father, was dabbling with alcohol, dabbling
Okay.
with crack, soul crack, and jail, all that good stuff. But he eventually got it together. But we just had. And I didn't have to do the things that I was doing, by the way. I chose to go out there and run the streets and stuff like that.
Okay.
But she just needs to know how good she motherfucking got it.
See, I don't think they'll ever know though, because when we were doing it, right, when we were coming up and we were struggling, our parents were struggling too. I feel like my son, I can throw him in that environment, which I never would. I don't want him to know nothing about it, but I can throw him in that environment. But at the end of the day, for one, he got a beast of a daddy. Like daddy is a gangster, so he coming through shooting everything up if anything ever happens to him. He has that
Safety net.
that safety net. He
Yeah,
knows
it's
if he
different.
falls, mom and dad are always there to catch you.
Yeah.
With me, if I fell, I fell. Like it was no.
And it's like the scene in Batman where he's in the where Bruce Wayne is in the jail underground in Dark Knight Rises, and the only way he can actually climb out is if he takes off the rope.
I remember that. I remember that.
And that's the message, right?
Yeah.
When you don't have the safety net, which is the rope that
Yeah.
catches you from falling, then
Yep.
you jump as high as you fucking can, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's death.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the answer then.
There's
Field trips to Chicago and Flint, Michigan for the summer.
no, but I will say there is something to it. My mom, and I didn't realize until you said it right now. My mom every summer would have my aunt and my great aunt from Scotland come visit, and sometimes my great uncle and my uncle as well. And people always ask, like, why'd you develop a sense of humor? To keep up with them. Scottish women are so fucking fast and witty, and they was roasting constantly, like mercilessly. You know what I mean? And it was like, okay, I gotta develop this shit. And I was around these family members who were coming from like the same environment as my mom, but my mom had transitioned, you know.
Right.
But I think part of her was like, I want him to have, and my little brother to have what I had.
Got you.
I want them to be around this energy, because this energy created me.
Yeah.
You know, and God, I never even realized that till fucking right now.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Send them to live with the grandparents.
You from Flint, right?
I am.
So why
Right.
why don't you just send them to Flint for the summer?
With my kids,
By the way, a glass of water in Flint would scam straight.
and this is
I'm just being dead serious. I'm not even being funny. Like, you got to let people, like, this is what you have to let him know how real this
have him
shit
take
is
a
for
shower.
some people.
with the water crisis. See, I'm just gonna keep it 100% real with you guys. I'm of that land. I'm from Flint, raised in Flint. My parents still stay in Flint. Like, my whole family is there. So the water issue, it isn't funny. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you guys realized how bad it is. Combat Jack came to Michigan to do
Rest
my
in peace,
podcast.
Combat
Rest
Jack.
in peace. He was an excellent man and so humble. Like, I was so honored to meet him. He came, and he didn't even really understand the impact until Jaquavis took him to the city. He took him to the land, and it was just, once you see it, it's like a war zone. Like, certain things just aren't funny. Like, slavery ain't funny. Holocaust ain't funny. People don't crack jokes about that. The water crisis isn't funny. It's devastation. It's systemic genocide. And I don't think people really get that because they don't get to see it every day. Like, every single day having to open, there's thousands of water bottles sitting on the side of the streets, because not only is the water bad, the government, the local government, the city is just declining. There's no schools there. There's one high school. We used to have like 5 high schools. There's one. There's no grocery stores in the inner city. So where do people eat? How do they live? They have to go to neighboring towns just to buy groceries. So it's more, I can't crack jokes and use that as a convenient punchline, because for me, that's home.
No, I agree.
It's just, I just can't go there. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I was born and raised there, and I feel like the entire city is dying slowly.
So why isn't it a bigger deal?
Because I feel like it's a little bit of classism. It's a little bit of racism. It's a very impoverished town. The unemployment rate is ridiculous. The level of education, the highest level of education, is very low. And people don't care about people like that. You know, like, if this was happening in Beverly Hills, it would have been solved.
But we cared about it for a minute.
That's because celebrities shine light on it. They were sending water bottles, which was very generous. But
I sent water.
we thank you for that. We needed that. But did y'all know that the distribution centers have stopped? As of a couple days ago, no more free
Yeah,
water.
they said the crisis was over.
It's still going on.
You know what's so crazy about the Flint water crisis? I didn't realize that it was still going on. Like, I thought people would just say that every now and then, like, put the meme out just to say it. Like,
No, it's
like,
still going on.
Like they'd be like, oh, while y'all are paying attention to what Trump is doing, Flint still doesn't have water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that true?
That's very true.
That's
very
crazy.
true. Like, my mom vacations to my house, and I'm an hour and a half up the road. And when she comes to my house, she's washing clothes, washing her hair. Like, it's just stuff that she can't do at home comfortably.
Why does she want to stay there still then?
Because it's home. And we've offered, like, we're like, we can get you a house outside of the city.
Where are you at?
I'm in the suburbs. I'm in.
So why don't you show your children that? So they know.
He knows that. He goes to visit
okay.
her. Like, when we both have to go on tour and stuff
Gotcha.
like that, he goes to visit, but there's still that safety of home. You know what I mean? He still always comes back home. And then Flint is just, not only is it that bad in that aspect, is violent. So I don't want my son in the middle of that. Anything can happen when you're in Flint. You can be inside the safety of your home and something horrible can happen. So I prefer for my son to be in his comfort zone, which is our home. So if we have to travel for work or if we're on tour, my mom comes to our house because A, she needs it. You know, she wants to be there because of the water situation, and B, that's where he lives. That's where he's always going to be comfortable. So I cater his life to his comforts, not mine.
What is the problem, though? Like, why is the water unclean? Like, is it the piping?
It's
Like,
the piping. It's the piping. They switched water sources, and the new water source eroded the inside of the pipes. So the infrastructure under the house, almost every house in the city, is bad. It's tainted. So in order to, it isn't a quick fix, you know, and it's an expensive fix. So it'll take 20 years to turn this problem around. But in the meantime, you have people coming in, buying up the property, buying up the houses. How you can get a house for $500 in Flint.
they're about to gentrify.
They're about to gentrify the
Absolutely.
city, and that's the problem. That's why I'm like, I can't key about this, because it's an annihilation of just where I came from. So it's still going on, and people don't know. It's not just a meme. It's like, I have pictures in my phone of a little boy who was affected by the water. His entire face, it looks like it's been scalded by boiling water.
Yikes.
That's how bad it is.
That would scare you straight.
Yeah.
If people, but I think it goes back to visual too, though. Because remember how they said Martin Luther King Jr. didn't get really, like, things didn't get moving with the civil rights struggle until
Rosa Parks or Emmett Till?
no, when he showed them, like he went to I think it was Alabama. Was it Alabama? I think it was. He went somewhere. What was that sheriff's name, Chris? Bull Connor?
Oh, yeah.
Because he knew, because they had one protest before, but it wasn't really no action.
Yeah.
So he went to, I think it was Alabama, because he knew Bull Connor was going to be about that fuck shit.
And release the dogs.
Release the
and
dogs,
whole
holders, exactly.
Yeah.
And now that they got pictures, people realize how bad racism was
Yeah.
throughout America. Like, I think people need to do that. Like,
Yeah, it's
more
hard to
in Flint.
forgive. It's hard to forgive or forget an image.
Yes.
You know, like that Ray Rice thing. Like, we've heard countless football players have abused their wives, and
Yeah.
then we've forgiven them. I don't know if we've forgiven them, but we've kind of like
forgot.
looked. We forgot.
Yeah.
We definitely forgot. But with Ray Rice, there's a video.
Yeah. A very brutal
A
video.
brutal. I mean, there's tons of football players that have beat up their
Yeah.
wives, and they're still in the league. But that video, dragging her into the fucking elevator, dragging her out the elevator. It's hard to forget that. You can't get signed after some shit
It's
like
just, it's become the norm in Flint. So the residents of Flint are just dealing with it.
Yeah.
And not many people from the outside come into Flint to see it. You know what I mean? Like, you come in when all that celebrity attention was on it, they came in.
Yeah.
But here we are, that was 2 years ago, and it's still going on. No attention is there. No light is being shed. So it's kind of like the thing you sweep under the rug.
Well, salute to Flint, man. Let's pay some bills, and we come back and talk about another Ray. Not Rice.
that. Ooh,
Lewis.
some Ray Lewis shit?
You didn't hear what Ray Lewis said?
What you say?
I'll tell you in a minute.
All
right. Acer. Salute to Acer. Game longer and game harder. Level up on the go with hardware that's as versatile as it is strong. The Predator Helios 300. Thanks to an Aeroblade 3D fan, this portable rig stays cooler longer, so the only heat you feel comes from the battlefield. Fully immerse yourself in the game with a sleek design that lets you forget it's even there. And with a 7th generation Intel Core i7 processor and NVIDIA GeForce Tech, you get the purest frames per second, keeping every game tear-free so you can focus on becoming the best. Build your empire. Predator Helios 300. Gaming will take care of the rest.
Go to Acer.com, click on Store, and enter the coupon code BRILLIANT at checkout to receive 10% off, plus free ground shipping on a Predator Helios 300 laptop, including already discounted models. Offer valid through April 30th, 2018, and limited to one per qualified order. I noticed, Dwayne, that they don't want us to do the chime anymore. Did we fuck the chime? Did we? No? Because they used to be written into the copy, ding, ding. Or what? Doon, doon, ding.
Maybe they got tired of us saying,
That's what I think.
here's the chime.
Yeah, the Ron
Yes.
Burgundy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, ding, ding, ding. There it is. That's the last time you're going to hear it.
So you didn't hear about Ray Lewis? None of y'all heard about Ray Lewis?
No, what Ray Lewis do?
Ray Lewis, I forgot what show he was on. They asked him about Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, boy.
And he said that the reason Odell Beckham Jr. isn't, I guess, doing as well as he was because he took God out of his life. He said Odell used to be a spiritual person. I guess Odell comes from a church background or whatever, but he said Odell took God out of his life, and that's why Odell is in the position he's in. First of all, I don't even know what position Odell is in.
I was just about to ask that. Like, what did he do?
He's in position to be the highest played football player in history.
I don't get what's going on. Okay, he's having a couple off the field issues, but nothing serious. He didn't commit a double murder, Ray. You know what I mean? Like, he's not accused of rape or anything out here. You know what I
don't
mean?
think it's
Like,
coincidental that right before he asked for the biggest contract in NFL history, a video pops up where he's in a room with some girls doing cocaine? You don't think that
he was doing coke?
No, the girls were doing cocaine.
Oh.
He wasn't doing anything. He was holding a joint, but you don't see him smoking or anything. For all I know, he could be holding the weed for the girl while she does the coke and pass it back. All I'm saying is this is corporate warfare. When you're dealing with $100 million contracts, it's no different than a $100 million contract between two businesses. And if I'm the Giants, I release this video, and then I go and I talk to his agent, and I go, listen, we'd love to pay him a lot, but you can't pay a cokehead that much.
Yeah.
Why don't you knock a few million off?
I will say, though, he's got to be smarter than that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? If you guys know you got that kind of money on the line, don't even put yourself in that type of situation,
But
my
that
brother.
video could be 5 years old, 3 years old. All I'm saying is
Now you can tell by his hair, Snoop.
I would not put it past these fucking NFL teams or any of these teams in general to hold on to that shit and release it when it benefits them.
I wouldn't put that past an organization either.
Come on.
Not only hold on to it, but in another way to look at it is, if I know I'm about to pay this guy $100 million, we got to do a serious vetting process.
Yeah.
We about to invest in this guy
that's
for
true.
4 or 5 years and spend a lot of money. Let's make sure he's clean.
I agree.
true.
Hey, man, we found something. What'd y'all find? What? Okay, he's getting $40 million. You know what I mean?
Facts.
We're getting 40 for the next 5, not 100.
Do you think that taking God out of your life will affect your performance?
Yes. Me, personally, because I believe in God. Like,
Right.
I have a spiritual foundation. I was raised, my mother was a Jehovah's Witness. My father was in the Kingdom Heart. My father was into Islam. My grandmother was a Baptist. So for me, yes, absolutely. 100%. I would feel like I was running on autopilot. And I would feel like something bad is about to happen at any moment. I feel like God gives me an anchor, a spiritual anchor. It keeps me grounded in a certain place.
Ashley?
I agree. But I can't say that that's for everyone, but I have a spiritual connection with God as well. And I think that my entire life is just God. And I remember...
Are you religious? Are you?
I'm spiritual. I don't go to church every Sunday or anything like that. But I believe in God. I was raised Baptist, of course, like most black people.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I
Shout out
believe,
to John the Baptist.
I believe my relationship with God was tested right after I met Jaquavis.
Really?
Yes. How our first book came about is I got pregnant right after I moved out with him. Young kids living together, sex all the time, got pregnant. Young girl getting pregnant. And I woke up one day and there was blood everywhere. Lots of pain. He rushed me to the hospital and I had an ectopic pregnancy.
What does that mean?
That means that the baby was caught in one of my fallopian tubes and it was threatening to rupture. So they had to remove the tube. There was no salvaging it. And afterwards, the doctor told me, you have a very small chance of ever having a child. I was devastated. I was 17 years old. And from the time I was 17 until the time I had my son at 25, I just questioned God for a very long time. My spirituality was shaky. It was very shaky because I didn't understand why it was happening to me. It just was a hard time. It was just something that I struggled with because I'm I know that this man is eventually going to want a child. And what if I can't give that to him? I just was questioning everything.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
But while I was healing from that, he challenged me to write a book. I was crying every day. He was still in the streets. So that's how we would pay our bills. He couldn't just stay home and nurse me back to health. So one day he said, hey, Ash, I bet I can write a better book than you. And I said, yeah, get the fuck out of here. No, you can't. I'm the most competitive person in the world. So I immediately, it was he gave me a magic wand and it was just okay, you feel better. And he rolled me to this. We didn't even have a computer desk. It was a nightstand. The computer was on top of it and I started writing. And he would come in after, he hit the block and he would start writing. And I read his work and it was the best material I had ever read. And I was we need to merge these stories. And that became our first published book. So I didn't birth a baby at 17. I birthed a career.
Wow.
And once I began to look at it that way, and then once I had my son, I was you know what? If I had that baby at 17, I would have never written a book. I probably would have continued the cycle of poverty in my family because I was too young to take care of a child. Jaquavis might have never gotten out of the streets. You just never know how life would have turned out. So when I finally had my son, I was in a position, my son has the best of everything. And I understood that it was all about timing, God's timing. And it renewed my entire faith in my relationship with God.
Yeah, especially being the miracle of the bad birth and then actually having the child.
Exactly.
You realize everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. And it made me appreciate motherhood more. I have friends that had kids very early and they were still in the club, still being young. I was able to be a real mother.
Yeah.
I breastfed my son, which nobody in my family had ever breastfed. Like that, my grandmother looked at me like, girl, just get a boy a bottle. But I had more education. You know, I was able to be a better mother to him because A, I wanted it so badly because the first had been taken from me, and B, I was older and I was in a more established position to do it.
That's the wildest thing in the world when you grow up poor, but nobody wants to breastfeed.
Yeah.
It's free milk.
It's free. And it's so healthy.
Wait, is that a thing?
What do you mean?
Breastfeeding?
Not wanting to breastfeed?
Some people don't. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
moms get shamed for
That's a
for
poor
choosing
thing?
not to. No, it's not a poor thing. Just in my family, we didn't do that.
But why? Where does that come from?
Just from lack of knowledge, lack of knowing that it's the best option for baby and being convenient, and that's all.
Why
Lack
do we
of
stop
education.
drinking human milk?
Why do we drink cow's milk?
That's what I'm saying. Why did we stop
I'm not
drinking
against the
human milk?
cow's milk thing because we eat the rest of the cow. Why wouldn't we take the milk too? If I'm gonna eat the intestines, I'm gonna eat the fucking mouth, the
point.
tongue, the hoof.
But if we
I'm
grow
not
up
gonna have
off-
that delicious milk.
But if we grow up off breast milk, right, and that's the best thing for us, it gets us all strong and all healthy, why do we stop?
Son, white people breastfeed their kids until they're like fucking 12. Dude, if you Google right now on YouTube, there's some English woman who's breastfeeding her 14-year-old son.
Yeah, that's a bit much. If
It
you have
looks
teeth, we
crazy.
can stop.
He's laying on her lap, taking up the whole couch. His feet are hanging off the side of the couch. It was this big story in
Why
England.
doesn't she just bottle it?
Say what?
Just bottle it.
She liked that connection, yo. She likes that connection, dude, for real.
think so?
14-year-old kid with fucking stubble sucking on his mom's titty. Look it up on YouTube.
That's disgusting.
So what's the next book?
Ethic. Ethic is the book that just came out April 1st.
Okay.
It's my best work to date. When I was writing this book, I was extremely emotional, crying almost every page because I was writing about a black man who was reformed from the streets. He actually made it out. Most people don't. They're dead or in jail. He didn't. He made it out, but he feels that his karma is that he can't find love. He lost the first love of his life. He has children that he's raising alone, and he feels that his karma for contributing to the destruction of his community is he'll never find someone to share the rest of his life with. Yeah, I lived to tell about it, but now I'm lonely. And he meets a young woman throughout the book, and they just kind of explore this journey between a black man and a black woman together. So that's my latest book.
It's called
out
Ethic.
Now. It's called Ethic.
And it's out now.
It's out now.
Where's it set at? Where's it set at?
It's set in Flint, of course.
Okay.
Not all of my books are set in Flint, but I felt that one needed to be.
Is it so when you write these books, do you already know it's going to be a sequel or whatever, or do you try to do one-offs?
When we write together, we usually have that planned out simply just because of contracts and just the level of our career. Publishers want to know what they're getting. When I write by myself, I don't give myself rules. So I like to write until I can't write anymore. By the time I'm done with a book, my head is banging. Like I'm just like sick. I've worked myself sick because I put so much into it. So I write until I just can't write another scene. And that's when I know it's done. This book was so potent and so passionate. I wrote like 100,000 words and I was like, there's no end in sight. So I had to end it and prepare for a sequel.
When you see a movie adapted from a book, how do you feel? Do you feel for the writer
Of the book?
of the book?
I do.
Yeah, because you often hear people who read the book first, then see the movie, and there's disappointment,
Yeah.
right? And I understand that because when you're reading a book, you're visualizing what these characters look like.
Yeah.
Like with Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code, I always saw the Robert Langdon character as Richard Gere, right?
Oh,
This
that's a good one.
handsome,
Yeah, that's a good
regal, like he's out here fucking. You know what I mean? Like Tom Hanks is a sweetheart of a guy, but he's not fucking.
Oh my
You
God.
don't get no cheeks?
I'm not cracking cheeks, bro.
You don't think so?
No, he's cracking codes. But do you know what I'm saying? So I was a little disappointed, but obviously Tom does a great job. So I wonder if you, as someone who understands what the work a person puts into a novel, and then you see
The movie.
the movie, which is different than your creation, how do you let that go?
Me as an author?
I mean, I'm sure doing
I
deals
wouldn't-
for films now
we
or
are.
TV, and can you separate? Can you just go, okay, if that's how you see it?
I haven't separated. It was in order to do a deal with the Colemans, we have to be executive producers.
Damn right.
And that's just, there's no negotiation in that, which gives me control over how the end project turns out.
And what if you had a director that you respect so much? Would you give them maybe not free reign, but would you be like, okay, if you see the character like that and you see a story like that, I'm going to let you rock with it?
Yes. Only because I'm an artist and I don't try to limit other people's art. If you're a director, I'm not a director. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm not going to tell you how to do your job.
Yeah.
I might voice my opinion, and then if we disagree, and this is, at that point, it's the director's film. So I would just let them create the art.
So you let go. Once you pick the director,
yeah.
you can let go.
Yeah. But that goes, when you're the executive producer, you get to put all those pieces in place. So I'm not going to
pick the right
hire a
person,
director
right?
that
Yeah,
doesn't
has
really
your
agree
vision.
with my vision.
So what's the film project y'all doing?
We're doing a few projects. We have a deal on the table right now about the cartel that I can't talk about, and I wish I could because the ink isn't dry yet. But we're also doing a television project with Warner Brothers called American Street, and we're adapting it from someone else's book. So I understand that changing the world and everything completely up.
Yeah, but I would almost prefer
That an author do it.
than author do it because he's gonna have or she's gonna have the utmost respect
Yeah.
for my craft and
Yeah.
what I want to show here, and
Yeah.
the story I want to tell.
Why they come to y'all to do it? Why wouldn't they just go to the original authors?
Well, it's very hard to make the transition from author to screenwriter.
Yeah.
Two completely different types of writing.
Yeah.
And most authors don't have that aspiration. It's hard work.
Because it's show in film, it's tell in novels, right?
Well, for us, we use the show in our novels, which made an easy transition to go
so
directly
you have a
to film.
style that is good for film and
Yes.
TV.
Yes.
And I'm sure execs picked up on that, and they're
They
like,
did.
okay, let's work with these
They
guys
did.
immediately. Whereas some people are so descriptive. Well, I've noticed even some of the stuff that I've read with you guys, there's a lot of attention to detail it with I guess adjectives and that kind of stuff like that. You're painting this picture, but with film, you're not going, her hair was laced like
Exactly.
whatever. You just show her fucking hair.
Exactly.
That's
That's
why
gotta suck for you and your husband to watch films together though.
Why?
Because y'all critique the fuck out of them,
He
I'm
does.
sure. Oh.
He critiques them.
you get lost.
Yeah, he critiques them. Like, he is like, oh, this angle, this scene, this, like, he knows all that terminology, and I just enjoyed the film. But a lot of times I can predict an ending because I know
Yeah.
story so well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there was a movie, I can't even remember the name of the fucking movie. I
That's-
think The Girl
that's
on
what,
the Train.
yeah.
I predicted. I was just like, I just knew the ending before.
Jazz
so it
said the
kinda
same
ruined
thing.
it.
We had Jazz Fly here. Do you know Jazz? And when she was here, it was like, was it hard to watch TV for you? Do you know what's coming? And she's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
y'all
can
need
see
to
the story
start- y'all
coming
need to
from.
start watching more compelling stuff like Tyler Perry Acrimony.
I
Okay?
haven't seen that, actually.
Neither have I.
Do you want to see
No,
it?
I know what it is. That is a predictable movie. Okay,
Yo.
you can watch the trailer and tell what happened in
what's
that
gonna
movie.
happen.
I saw Ready Player One. I was talking to Ashley about this earlier.
It was amazing.
Charlamagne, Ready Player One, Spielberg film. It's based on a book, and that's why I brought up this book kind of in the first place. But this movie was the best movie I've seen in recent memory.
I did a screening for it.
Did you watch it?
No.
But it's not a
me tell
movie
you
that you would
something.
typically want to watch.
I had no interest to go see it.
Yeah.
I did it because we did a Western Bros about it. It's going to come out Monday. But I did it because I wanted to get back to Western Bros. People were asking us to do Western Bros. It's like a film TV review podcast,
Yeah.
right? And I reluctantly go. So my expectations are low, and that's my favorite thing actually to
Yep.
go in with a movie, right? My mouth was agape
the whole time, right?
I couldn't fucking believe
Yeah.
it.
I heard
Did
it's
you?
great, and I heard if you don't know anything about the video game, it's even better.
Even better.
Listen, my son wanted to see it because he's a full on gamer.
So
YouTube channel,
Yeah.
like the headphones. He
Whole
talks
thing.
to friends.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Mom, can we please go see this movie?" So Jaquavis and I, we took him, and I'm in there. Usually, I'll take like my phone and Netflix some shit while he's watching the movie. I put my headphones down. And I was like, "This shit is good." It was like a virtual Avatar.
Yeah.
It reminded me like of the movie Avatar, but for
video
gamers.
games.
And then it had enough scenes from like old school shit.
There's
That's
nostalgia.
what I heard.
Nostalgia
Yeah.
peppered in all over it, but it also, the movie was a metaphor for itself. That's how I describe it, because it talks about this place, which is the Oasis, right? Which is this virtual reality world that's set up where you can go, and people are leaving their real lives to spend time in this Oasis because it's way more interesting. You can
Like
be
now,
whoever you want to
yeah.
be. Instagram, right?
Okay.
But the movie itself was a distraction from our life. For those 2 hours,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting in this movie and I'm completely enthralled by it. And I'm like, what an amazing story. It was such a fun ride.
It was.
Oh, this is what the Oasis is. And like you said, it's a great metaphor, and it acknowledges the metaphor. It talks about the fact that we're leaving this person-to-person contact for this virtual world
Yep.
because it's more fun. And it talks about the danger of that. It's not too
Yeah.
heavy-handed.
Yeah.
But dude, you would fucking love it because it touches on a lot of things that you say on this fucking podcast.
Well, I did a screening for it because Lena Waithe is in it. You know what I'm saying? And
Which
I,
surprised the shit out of me. I didn't know she was in it.
I knew she was
did
in
a
it.
phenomenal job.
Yeah, and I hate black women, so I did a screening for the movie just because she was in it. You know what I mean? And so I meant to stay, but I had to do something, so I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I'm
But I
telling
heard it's really
you,
good,
man.
It's
though.
good. It's a good family movie, but it's smart too. It's a really smart film.
Dude, Spielberg,
He's a beast.
this guy, the music. I fucking teared up. I'm with my boys.
By the way, this is how you know Lena's gonna be a superstar. By the way,
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg don't just cast black women.
Anybody.
He
He
gets
don't
the right.
cast anybody.
Oh no,
He
the
get-
black
he
women
gets
he's
the one.
picked have been the ones.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like he gets the
He got a good
ones.
record.
I like her exposure though, because you started to see her in one place, and then all of a sudden she was everywhere.
Absolutely.
And I was like, oh, I just knew it was like she was becoming a
With the
household
right
name.
projects too.
Yeah.
And she's a writer. You know what
That's-
I'm saying? Like
Who
she's a
acts.
writer who
Yeah.
acts, not an actor who got in the writing. She's a writer
Yeah.
who acts, and
Which
she can
takes
do everything.
power into your hands.
Comedy. She won the what, Golden Globe for
The
comedy?
Emmy,
Emmy
I
for
think.
comedy.
Emmy for Comedy for Masters of None.
Yep.
Yep.
And now she got the
Shy.
Shy, which is a drama.
Yeah.
Beast.
And I
Which
think
is
she's
dope.
doing another comedy on TBS or something like that.
That versatility is impressive.
Ugh.
To be able to go from comedy to drama that way, to grit to sci-fi,
Yeah.
like you're unstoppable.
And good people.
But also, like you said, having that ability to write your own project
Yeah.
changes the game.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
Because you start pulling away from things you don't want to do because you're like, well, I'll just write my own show.
Yeah. I firmly believe that you can't be afraid to say no to certain opportunities. Like we've gotten offered deals to turn the cartel into film several times over the past 10 years. And we've always said no because we didn't want this to go to film and be something completely different than what we wrote on the pages. So until we developed the amount of power that we needed to say no, we need to executive produce this, we turned them down.
It's ballsy to do.
It is.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about, because like with Lena wrote The Shy, right? And she's from Chicago. Could you write like a movie about what's really going on in Flint?
We
Yeah,
are.
because The Shy humanizes
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Could you do something like that with Flint?
Definitely.
Okay,
We
gotcha.
plan to.
All
That's
right.
definitely in the plans. But it's really, when we first went out there, a lot of people were interested in meeting us because we had so much IP. We have over 40 books. So they wanted to.
IP
What's
is
IP?
intellectual property.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
then
We
those-
just learned about
those
acronyms.
goddamn
last
acronyms.
episode.
I'm like, huh? Investment property? I don't know.
I saw Charlotte's brain moving.
So they wanted to know, okay, who were and then I'm only 32 years old. So how do you write this many books before you're 32? They wanted to know who these people were and how could we exploit the material. And then when we went out there, we said, okay, all of our material is street. It's all street. It only shows one talent. We can only write street shit. So we started to write other types of shows.
Smart.
We wrote dramas, we wrote comedies, we wrote 30-minute pieces, we wrote hour-long. Like we just wrote in every single format that we could. That way when we went, we had material to show. And people just started, it was like sharks, like a drop of blood in the water. And sharks just started biting. And we linked up with some producers, and they led us to our agent. And we hired someone at APA, and it just took off after that. We went out there for 2 weeks and took like 26 meetings back to back because our time was limited there. We had to make the most of it. And out of that came our UCP deal and our Warner Brothers deal.
Yeah, I asked that because you got to really believe in your pen to write a story about a whole place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're not just writing from your perspective when you call a show The Shy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because
Like
a lot of people will be like, "Oh, that ain't how it is in Chicago." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have to.
And you have to put
show-
up with that, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be happy about how you represent a city or a part of a city. I'm sure there are people that are pissed about The Wire, and there are people who really loved it,
Yeah.
etc. But I think what's interesting when you do a show about a certain place and about a struggle that's going on there, I think it can bring way more interest than political activism in a lot of ways. Because political activism comes in waves. It's the cool thing to be active about.
Yeah.
Charlamagne and I send water because we feel like we're supposed to. Then something else happens.
Yeah.
And
And
then
you
we
get
kind of forget.
distracted. Yeah.
I stopped sending water. Like, they're not
Yeah.
still thirsty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they are thirsty,
Yeah.
right? Right? But, like, we can only care about, like, one or two things at a
a
time,
time.
you know? And so, but when you have a show that really touches on these issues, or at least touches on an area, it's sustained interest.
Yeah.
And it becomes almost cool to be interested.
Yeah,
And
it's
cool
week
to
to
be
week.
woke every single week.
Yeah.
It's interesting how TV, a fake story, can help cure a real issue
Yeah.
more than a news story might.
That's my problem with everything that's going on now. When we talk about this virtual reality stuff, all the stories are really fake. So if all of the stories are really fake, how are you going to cure real problems? You have to
Go
show
on, go
you
on,
have
go
to show real stories in order to cure real problems. So if everybody's showing you fake stories, we're working on fake problems. We're not showing real issues.
You're talking about fantasy. You're talking about
just in general. Like for example, if I show you all right, say you're mad at me about something because you saw it on social media.
But you didn't even do it.
I mean, I didn't do it.
Now we got this wasted angst.
I saw Soledad O'Brien
Yeah.
yesterday in a restaurant.
Okay.
And she stopped me, and we was talking, and she was like, "Stop having Tommy Lauren on your show."
You're like, oh my god.
I'm like, I've never had her on the show, Miss Bryan.
I didn't think you did.
That never happened. Like I was like, that's a fake social media story. She's like, oh, well, I believed it. You know what I mean?
Social media has legs. If we used it in the right way, it could be brilliant. But it's like that old adage when you tell somebody a secret, then they whisper it to somebody else.
Telephone.
That shit's gonna get all mixed up.
It don't even exist.
There's no truth in social media. It's just different people's perspective. I guess it's truth. It's different people's truths.
I would love to correct these problems that people have with me, but I don't have them. Like it's not real issues. So that's all I'm saying is like when you want a real problem fixed, you have to show me a real issue. Like, you know, even when we're talking about a situation like Flint, we're clearly not seeing the real Flint, or we're clearly not seeing what's really going on in Puerto Rico. You understand? Like we got to see the real issue in order to fix the problem.
Yo, that's so true, man. I had some people ask me to come down and do a show in Puerto Rico, and I was like, do y'all know that y'all don't got power yet?
Yeah.
But they don't. They really don't.
They don't. I know.
I think.
Some places do. I went to Puerto Rico. For the New Year, actually, in the place where I was, the most touristy place did have, but I'm sure the rest of the island is just devastated. Yeah. That's the place that generates money, so of course they're going to fix that first, but everything else is still
Do you think
devastated.
there's part of the island that never had power, but they're like, yo, we don't have fucking power? Like, come on, give us some power already.
No.
Nah. There's got to be at least one town that was all
Maybe.
like candles and shit.
I hope not, though.
Yo, but milk it.
Yeah.
Get your power,
Hey,
yo.
by the way,
It's like when someone robs your house and you're like, no, I had 8 speakers.
Yes.
Hey, that's when you milk the insurance.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hey,
yo.
but if I was on hard times and couldn't pay my light bills,
Hey, I'm milking the
hey
insurance.
man, what's up over here, man? You know what I'm saying? I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, this week's show comes to you with support from Squarespace. With beautiful templates crafted by world-class designers, Squarespace makes it easy to turn your ideas into a new and unique website. Customize everything from looking fool. What the hell is looking fool?
Yeah,
That
you
can't
gotta
be
look
right.
fool every once in a while, bro.
That can't be right.
I mean, it's feel, but you know that.
Oh.
You know Matt Raz can't spell for shit.
I was like, how do you look
when
in
I just
fool?
want to say, I always get these comments how I can't read, okay?
Okay.
I can read. Charlamagne just reads way better at like adjusting the mistakes. So like you'll see the mistake before it comes and you'll fix it.
He's quick on his feet.
He's very quick on his feet. I read like Ron Burgundy. I'll read fool and I'll believe that's exactly what the fuck it is.
I want to know what it is. What the hell is looking fool? Is this a new setting on Squarespace?
Yo,
Hey man, this internet is changing every day, bro. You never know.
Yo,
okay?
get your full website set. You know what I mean? I mean, you could showcase your work, blog, or publish content, announce a special project, even sell products and fools and services of all kinds in just a few clicks. Plus, you can use Squarespace's analytics to help you grow in real time. Best of all, there's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever, okay? But if you ever do have a question or problem, Squarespace's award-winning 24/7 online customer support is there to help.
There to help fools.
They do help fools.
They help
That's
fools.
who the fools are.
That's who the fools are for.
Okay? I mean, there's an award for customer service. I didn't know that there was an award show or there was an award ceremony for customer service, but Squarespace has won it. Keep dreaming, but make it a reality with a website from Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code IDIOT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com, offer code IDIOT. NYC, Gotham Comedy Club, April 13th and 14th, this Friday and Saturday. Views from the Sis is coming home. Okay, get your tickets. I'm doing a live album recording at Gotham this weekend as well. We're recording all the shows for an album, Views for the Sis. We're going to put it out, man. Come through. Laugh loud, laugh plentiful. Thank you guys so much for the support. Then that Sunday, I'm going to be out there in Toronto. Both shows sold out. This has been unbelievable. Thank you guys so much for that, man. We did one theater show, and I was like, man, if we pack this out, I can't believe it. And y'all sold it out. And then we added another one. Y'all sold that one out. So Toronto, much love to you guys. And then go to theandrewschulz.com to get the rest of the dates. I got to announce, man, I'm coming to Europe. Views from the Sis is coming to Europe, man. I'll announce on my Instagram the the locations and when tickets will go on sale, but I'm coming to London, I'm going to Antwerp, I'm going to Amsterdam, I'm going to Oslo, I'm going to Copenhagen, and I'm going to Stockholm. So we're coming out there for Views for the Sis. I'm super excited about that. That's going to be happening in September, so thank you guys. And again, I'll announce soon when I'm going to put that out. And also, man, I'm really excited to say that 441 just hit 250,000 views on YouTube, so thank you guys so much for watching that. And I'm going to be putting out 551. I had a record label come to me and ask if I was interested, and I was like, you know what? People have been so gracious and been watching this 441. I'm going to put out the full version. We're going to put it out. It's going to be available for pre-order 551 May 5th at 1 p.m., and then the full album will be out the 8th of June, and I want a #1 comedy album. It's cheap. It's going to be $5. Cop it. You get the full thing, all 5 clubs, 5 different sets, one night in New York. And let's make this shit #1. If I got a #1 comedy album, that would be fucking amazing. That would be an amazing fuck you to, all the networks that passed on it. That would be amazing. It'd be so incredible, man. So I want the idiots to get out there, the assholes to get out there, everybody get out there. Go cop that shit the second it comes out. Cop it for the pre-order. That'd be absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for supporting everything. I got to tell you guys about this Acer, man. Ordinary is boring. You push past boundaries and toward greatness. And your hardware should do the exact same. With a cooling AeroBlade 3D fan, the Predator Helios 300 stays icy cold for hours, giving you the advantage you've been looking for. And with the 7th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, the only thing you have to worry about is how you're going to buff your next power play. The sleek geometric design of the Predator Helios 300 speaks for itself. It's up to you to start the conversation. Level up with the Predator Helios 300. Go to Acer.com, click on Store, and enter the coupon code BRILLIANT at checkout to receive 10% off, plus free ground shipping on a Predator Helios 300 laptop, including already discounted models. You heard that? The already discounted models are also included, so go get you one. The offer is valid through April 30th, 2018, and limited to 1 per qualified offer. All right, back to the show. I was thinking about something earlier this week. Is the word cracker a compliment?
A compliment?
I could be way off about this, right?
Nah.
But think about it. I could be way off. Does the word cracker come from the slave owner that would crack the whip?
Probably.
That's where it comes from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you call a racist a cracker, you're technically calling him probably his dream, which would be to own slaves and whip them.
If
Wouldn't
you
a
spin it
racist...
in the worst way.
I'm just saying, like...
Slave masters rape people, too, so he'd be like, raper.
And he'd probably be like, all right.
No, not in this era.
No.
No, you wouldn't. That's the last thing you want to be labeled as in this era.
If you're a racist, if you're someone who believes... Like, if you called me a cracker, then maybe I would take offense because I would never want to be associated with somebody like that. But if you're calling a racist a cracker, I don't think he's going to be, like, upset about it.
I love cracker. And you know my favorite? I used to like to say crack-ass cracker. Now I like crack-ass colonizer. That's my favorite. And I'm gonna tell you what really pisses white people off. I see this from the radio. I always let a crack-ass cracker fly, right?
Yeah.
I even let a colonizer fly. You know what? I say white devil. I say racist. I say bigot. You know what really pisses white people to fuck off?
What's that?
Mayonnaise. I do not know why when you call a white person mayonnaise, they lose their motherfucking mind. It never fails. Jimmy Fallon did this man on the street thing last night where he had people walking up to random white women asking them Cardi B lyrics. I got on the radio today and goes, oh yeah, that wasn't man on the street, that was mayonnaise on the street. And man, when I tell you, I got so many tweets and people will call the station, he's so fucking racist. Why is mayonnaise the trigger?
I don't get it. So we're supposed to be upset by mayonnaise.
No, they are. It says, I don't know where these people are calling from.
Yeah.
I don't know who these white people are, but there's a certain group of white people who do not like to be called mayonnaise.
They were pissed.
What do you think it is?
I have no. Why are you throwing up gang signs?
Somebody said hello.
Why'd you just throw up
A fellow mayonnaise
you just
gangster.
threw up a W, you just threw up the M level.
No, I threw up an H for Hellman's. That's the Hellman's Mayo click right here, bro. Throw it up.
But I'm saying, mayonnaise?
But what is it we get so offended
I
by?
don't know.
I mean, if we're similar to the color of mayonnaise and you're calling us mayonnaise.
Hey, bro, I don't know. And if you just say it. Like, even on Saturday Night Live the other night, Chadwick Boseman was like, he was talking about it was a Black Jeopardy, and it was something about potato salad question, and he was like, it was something about a white person bringing it to the cookout, and he was like, it'll probably be too much mayonnaise in it, and raisins or something, and everybody just goes crazy. I don't know what it is about mayonnaise and
but
white
mayonnaise
people.
is delicious. You put mayonnaise on anything, it makes it
Yeah,
better.
but the
If
white
anything,
people are
it's a
jumping out the
compliment.
window with mayonnaise now. I seen some girls at a fucking baseball game
Yeah.
with a jar of mayonnaise, eating that shit with a spoon.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
You have to
Bruh.
understand, white women are the most extra about everything. Okay, no, it's a fucking issue. Like, and I've noticed it's eating the fucking mayonnaise out of the thing. They can't just do a wet t-shirt contest. There's fucking dildos coming out
It's
of
singing
nowhere.
Drake, nice for what for you niggas all summer.
Dude, even with like the white like feminism shit. Have you ever know like I drink boy tears? That's their thing. Have you seen this?
I
Like
drink
they'll wear
boy
shirts.
tears?
I drink man tears.
Well, I got a coffee cup that says white tears.
Think you know how insane that is? Like it's just we
We live in an insane world.
No,
do.
but think about this. If you saw a guy drinking a coffee cup that says woman tears, your boy, if my boy was drinking a woman tears coffee cup, I'd be like, fam, are you okay? What do you hate women or
I'd be
something?
like, are you
That's
crazy?
insane,
I'd
bro.
be like, are you crazy?
You're crazy. You're out of your
In this
mind.
era?
Yeah, like, no, that's true.
This ain't
bro.
the 90s,
Yo,
bro.
come on now. You better give them
You
tears back.
serious? The word is born.
I think people are just sensitive. Like, you don't want to be called anything other than what you are politically.
Well, don't act like anything else.
I agree.
I don't call you a
agree.
cracker unless you earn it.
I agree.
I'm just saying, I think you're complimenting a lot of these people.
I don't
think
think
If you're a
anyone
racist
looks
and you're
at it
called a
that way.
cracker, I'm just saying.
Not if I tell them you a cracker with mayonnaise on it.
That's a
you're
delicious
a crack-
snack. You keep complimenting these white people.
You're a cracker with mayonnaise on it. That would be the most disgusting snack served ever.
That's a Jewish delicacy.
Crackers with mayonnaise?
Fuck yeah. And a little celery on
Chris.
with a little celery.
it. Dude, that's every Seder, bro. You just get a little cracker with some mayo. There's matzah and fucking celery, is it not, Chris? I went to a Seder.
He said no mayo.
There's no mayo in a Jewish dish. You're saying they're not putting mayo.
No mayo.
Chris,
I don't think mayo's kosher, bro.
mayo's not kosher?
I don't think so.
Why? Because it's got eggs in it?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
I just don't think. I don't think mayo's.
Damn it.
I've never been somewhere. I've never been to a kosher restaurant and this mayo's been an option.
Mayo. I was at a Seder last week.
No, you could definitely do mayo. They put mayo in the fish.
Involved in the Seder.
Really? I went to a Seder. Shout out to Gila from Gila's Nosh. She is my favorite.
I went to a
restaurant.
brisk before. Cruelest thing ever.
What, cutting
What
the dick
is-
off?
Cruelest
What
fucking
is it?
a brisk.
What is that?
Where they make your penis pretty.
And they put it in
the
tea.
skin off.
What do you think they call it brisk tea? Why do you think Lipton? I'm serious. They cut this little foreskin off and they boil the foreskin and it makes this fine little
Go
tea
away,
that they make
Charlamagne.
cold and then they serve it and they call it brisk iced
This
tea.
is the oddest tangent I've ever been a part of.
Have you ever been? You never been to a brisk?
No.
Salute to my homegirl Leslie. Leslie is Jewish. She's married to a black man named Jermaine. Salute to Jermaine. And I went to their son's brisk one time. Never again. Listen, all my Jewish friends do not invite me to no brisk, bro. The blood curdling screams
Of the
that
baby?
come from that little
So
baby.
it's like a live
They
circumcision?
circumcised the baby.
Yeah, but that half black dick's probably the easiest to circumcise.
Go.
Just that rabbi. There's a lot of extra skin today, folks. This is gonna be an easy one, a quick one.
This is the dick talk segment.
Dick
Dick
talk,
talk,
dick
dick segment. Let me tell you something, man.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome.
I
Threw
think
you the
that-
alley-oop.
I think it's cruel and unusual punishment. I'm be honest with you. There's just
There's an interesting argument,
Oh.
which is female genital mutilation is this horrible crime that we
is.
judge, right?
That is, yeah.
But male genital mutilation is just making penises pretty.
I felt bad for my son after he was circumcised.
they didn't numb him up.
They did, but
Okay.
just as his mom, like
Yeah,
even
yeah,
just
yeah.
taking care of it after
Yeah.
he was born, I was just like, why did I do this to my son? But at the end
So
of the
that
day, I
girls
didn't want
wouldn't
him
have to
an
scoop
ugly.
schmegma out of
Oh
his
yeah,
fucking
damn
dick.
right.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I get a son, I'm getting rid of that foreskin. Baby.
Oh yeah, you just don't want to make a party about it. That's
Nah,
the
Yeah,
thing.
I wouldn't
yeah.
do that. But
Just-
I mean, that's not my culture either. You know, that's not. We just let them take care of it, and that's that. But I did feel extremely bad.
I don't like people
afterwards.
that brag about foreskin. Like we know what's going on down there. We know in the
Wait,
summertime.
there are people that brag about foreskin.
Yeah, some dudes brag about it. We know.
What do they say?
They just brag about
How
it.
do they say it? Oh, I got some mayo under my dick.
Then you got a dog penis. You got a dog penis with schmegma. You got to take a Q-tip to it, and I got
dude.
time for
I
all
don't
that.
want no
man.
instrument, bro. I just need to cock my shit back.
Have you ever described that in detail in one of your books?
Never, and I never will.
So wait, you don't have uncircumcised dicks in your
I am
novels
checked
at
out
all?
of this conversation. I am not talking about dicks.
But what
on the
about
podcast.
when you do the novel about Chichen Itza?
What that got to do with?
So Chichen Itza are the Mayan
just
ruins.
told us that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were down there doing what's it called? Research for a novel or
yeah.
a book or movie.
Vacation/research.
You
gotta
what
make
my
it
parents
both.
would do too.
Yeah, you gotta write it off.
Y'all writing a book about the
exactly.
Mayan
Yes,
ruins?
yes.
We like to incorporate different types of characters, so we'll probably have a Mayan character and incorporate that history in one of the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Mayan ruins are so sick, man.
It's-
You gotta
it's
go.
dope.
It's
You've
so
never
fucking
been?
So.
It's like one of the most enlightening experiences ever.
Where is that?
It's in what? It's not in Quintana. What is it?
Quintana Roo, isn't it?
No, it's outside of that. I think it's in El Juarez.
No. Juarez is the one right next to El Paso.
Where is it then?
I know what I forget
It's 3
the state.
hours outside of Cancun.
So if you go to Cancun, a lot of people go to Tulum. You
Yeah.
probably
I do
drove
want to
through
go to Tulum,
and
'cause
you
I-
drive 2 hours from there.
I'm big
and
on
then you
Toltec
go.
wisdom, so I want to go.
Well,
I
you should
haven't
go.
been to Tulum.
There's some little Mayan ruins in Tulum, but if you want to
They're
experience the
smaller,
real
though.
ones, I mean, this is like when you go there, you're blown away.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's. So I went there almost on the solstice.
Okay.
Have you heard about what
wow,
happens
yeah.
then? So like, all right. So the Mayan ruins, the way that they created the pyramids,
Mm-hmm.
right, was that they're positioned so that the sun at the spring solstice or summer solstice,
Summer
whatever
solstice.
it is, right, is at the exact angle so that a dragon that it's at the bottom of the pyramid, the sun is coming out of his mouth, so it looks like he's breathing fire. This happened thousands of years ago before access to, a crazy geometry and all these types of like mathematical wisdom that we use today to build buildings.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's
The
this.
architecture is so perfectly structured. You would think that it was built in modern day times.
Yeah.
Nah, the aliens.
So I had,
UFOs,
a,
baby.
I had a
that's
joke. I
that's
had a joke about
conspiracy
that.
theorist around the Mayan ruins.
That was a joke I had about because you know how they always say that shit about the pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah.
How they're always like, oh, aliens came and did it. And I was like, that's how you know Mexicans are the hardest workers because they got pyramids and nobody questions who built those.
I think people do question. When I went, I questioned. I was like, how is this possible?
Aliens.
Mexicans, bro.
No.
Illegal aliens.
You are horrible.
Bro, they got
Possible because the mathematics are like what aren't all of them 360 degrees?
Yeah,
Like
it's
Dude,
the precision is like it boggled me. I was like, how is this possible?
So there's this right next to the pyramids. There's this like football field, and it was an old game they used to play. Do you remember the name of the game? I don't know.
No, he just told me that the players were called ball players.
The players called ball players,
Yeah.
and it would be for human sacrifice, and the winner sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
Right. It was an honor to sacrifice yourself because your body going into the ground would help the fruits and vegetables grow
Yeah, it
and
stopped
bring.
the natural disasters from coming.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
was.
So it was this like honor.
what
of human
prize is that?
Well, I mean, it's funny. We look at human sacrifice and we judge it, but at the same time, Christianity is based on human sacrifice, right? Like Jesus sacrificing himself for
I hate.
everybody's sins. and-
Could we please stop telling that lie?
Son,
Jesus got dragged to the cross, hung up on it. Okay, sacrifice is doing it on your own. Jesus didn't put himself up there. I'm
might have.
serious.
But
Dude,
he
he's
could have
God's
avoided
son.
it though because he knew that Judas was going to betray him.
dude, he could look. If you could turn water into wine, I'm sure you could turn that cross into some wings, fly away.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. How lit would that be if he was up there? Boom, wings.
checked
Bye,
out.
guys. Like that would be crazy.
I'm just tired of y'all not letting Jesus headline none of his own holidays.
I
Okay,
agree.
that shit is getting out of hand. But go
Anyway,
ahead.
so the court itself is made from this limestone, right? And correct me if I'm wrong
That's
about this.
correct.
So there's two seating arrangements, right? There's one on each side, basically in each end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And the limestone has this conductive property that passes, that like echoes sound. So you can sit 100 yards away from someone else and have a normal conversation at this fucking level.
And it echoes.
And it
Throughout
echoes
it's like a
throughout the field.
courtyard.
Yeah, throughout the courtyard. And then they can hear it. So what you'd have is like the leaders from each tribe
Mm-hmm.
would be sitting there and then watching the game and having normal fucking convos 100 yards away.
Yeah, that's all good. So you trying to whisper about somebody 100 yards away. You know what I'm saying? When you saying some shit you ain't got no business talking about.
Yo, this other team trash. What was that? That? Who trash?
Did they tell you about the sacrifices of the babies that look different? Like if you were born with a special quality like green eyes or blonde hair, or like if you just were a beautiful baby, they sacrificed them to the gods.
What?
Why?
Because back then, that's what boggled me. They were so advanced in all this architectural. They created the modern day calendar. But when it came to stuff like that, they thought that sacrificing innocent children would stop hurricanes, would stop the earthquakes,
I wonder why they didn't look at
But
it
it
as
was
a blessing
just
from God.
would stop the locusts. Locusts destroyed their crops every year. for
So
months.
it was just the like attractive babies though.
Yeah, just
So
the
if you see some
phenomenal-
ugly Mexican chicks,
they
it's the
didn't make-
Mayans'
yeah.
fault. God was trying to help y'all out. Y'all kept killing them.
I wonder why they didn't see it from the perspective of this is a blessing from God. So you don't give God right back what he just gave you.
I think because maybe they were extraordinary. You give them the ones that's valued the highest.
It was
You know
the
what I mean?
ultimate gift.
Yeah,
Like we look at sacrifice the opposite way. We kill things that are bad.
yeah.
But they looked at sacrifice like the best thing that you could possibly do.
The
But
best
you
thing
just
that I
got
can
it.
donate.
Son, but
You just carried it for 9 months. It just came out.
No,
Like,
the parents oftentimes ran. They oftentimes would try to hide their child. It
Right.
was the leaders, the shamans that sacrificed.
That's got to be fucked up when you got bad children. Like when they grow up, like I should have fucking let them sacrifice shit. Like, I should have just let them. Mother, why didn't I give you to God when you first
you lucky
came?
you ugly.
How insulting is it if they let your baby live?
Right? You
Jesus
show-
Christ. Nah, he's not special.
Well, he gonna live a long time.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. So what's the book gonna be about? What's the correlation with the Mayan ruins and what?
We haven't created it yet. Right
Okay.
now, we're locked into a contract for the next 3 cartels. Our fans, I always tell authors there's beauty in being an unknown author because you can just write from passion. You can write about what you want to write about. At our level of our careers, we have to write what the publishers want, what our agents want, and what the readers want. Anything else, and they're like, okay, where's this next cartel book? So that's our franchise for the next at least 3 years.
Shit.
Yeah. But we love that franchise. That franchise changed our lives. Like, that franchise is just everything. The characters are iconic. It's what our fans gravitate towards the most. So it's kind of like, the retro Jordans.
Yeah,
That's our
yeah,
retro.
yeah.
So you just putting out some different colorways.
Every time. Every time.
But it's still enjoyable for you. You still like the characters enough to write for them.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it if I didn't still enjoy writing their journeys. Like, I wouldn't just milk it for $1.
Word. Well, congratulations. Tell them where they can find your books and all of that good
Yeah.
stuff like that.
We're available everywhere. Ethic is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, everywhere. Like Ashley and Jaquavis is what we write as together. I'm Ashley Antoinette by myself. He's Jaquavis Coleman. Our books are everywhere books are sold.
And what's your social medias?
At Ashley Antoinette on Instagram and at Novelista on Twitter.
I got to shout out Jaquavis, man. Jaquavis came to my show in Toledo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He left home to come see you.
Yeah, he came. How long was that? That's like an hour.
It's not that far from where we are. It's
Oh,
like
really?
maybe like a 2.5 hour drive.
That's a 2.5-hour drive. Came to the show looking like Carmen Sandiego.
Hey,
he had
don't
a big
do-
ass hat.
don't
He
do.
did. He had a big ass hat, looking
Don't
clean
do
as
my man
hell.
like that.
Like, where in the world is Jaquavis at? But yo, he came in. I was so grateful, man. It was so sweet for him to come through. I really appreciated it. And
Yeah, we just show love to people who show love to us. Like,
Man.
it's always genuine and always reciprocated.
I'm a fan
Salute
of you
to
guys.
Jaquavis. Word up.
And Jaquavis is a sweet guy. I'm so glad that I got to meet you,
Yeah,
and I
it's been
really
a
root for
pleasure.
you guys, man. I'm very excited for all the things happening. Every
Thank
once
you.
in a while, Jaquavis will text me and we'll talk, and he talks about the projects that are going on. And I think you've been, I would say, humble as far as what you guys are really doing in the industry.
That's
Yeah,
good,
a
though.
little bit.
I
mean,
think you
'cause
guys.
you want to remain the person that you have always been. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because it can be stripped away tomorrow, and then I was acting big over here, and now I'm
Right.
back small. Like, I just always want to be me. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I wish you guys best of luck. I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
Word.
I admire the independent hustle, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the best.
And as always, if you listen to this podcast, you think we're smart, you think we're intelligent, you think we're brilliant, you're absolutely right. But if you listen to this podcast and you think we're just a couple idiots who don't know shit, you're right too. It's the Brilliant Idiots Podcast. Thank you for listening. Now, to be the best, you need the best. Enter the Predator Helios 300, a gaming laptop that takes power to an all-new level, equipped with a 7th-generation Intel Core processor, an Aerial Blade 3D fan. Discover the VR-ready Predator Helios 300 today.
Beam, beam, beam.
It's not done.
Oh,
Go to acer.com, click on
just
store.
throwing it out there. I got that shit.
and enter the coupon code BRILLIANT at checkout to receive 10% off. Plus free ground shipping on a Predator Helios 300 laptop, including already discounted models. Offer valid through April 30th, 2018 and limited to 1 per qualified order.